I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around for
You could be with anyone, and I could be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me.
Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Thursday night Speak Pipe Live. That's right. We're doing a Speak Pipe Live. What does Speak Pipe mean? That means you guys get to call in, leave a message. We're going to play those messages. I'm going to respond to them. Again, this is just an effort to make sure that everybody is able to have an avenue available to have their voice heard. Before we go too far, I want to make sure everybody can see me, you can hear me, everything is copacetic. Otherwise, I'm sitting here said that all for nothing because I'm talking to myself. And I want to make sure that's not true. Give me a 1 in the chat if you can see me, you can hear me. Give me a 2 if you're having problems. And I'm going to check real quick to make sure everything is up and running. Looks like we got some ones. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Good evening, everybody. Remember to give me that HBO special, which stands for Help a Brother Out Special, by either subscribing to the channel. If you're not yet subscribed, ring the bell for notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as making sure you hit that like button. It really helps to let me know that you guys are really digging what I'm doing. 1, 2, it helps with the algorithm and all that YouTube stuff that I'm not, even though I've been on here for a minute, still working my way through it. All right. But either way, we have we got a good amount of speak pipes in this week. Want to make sure we get to everybody. I've had some thoughts and I've had some revelations, and I think that moving forward, got to pull my cup up. Pow, you know what I mean? Got to have that refreshment. Got to stay hydrated, especially when you're wading through a bunch of craziness. Okay, so thank you, Lizzie B. Appreciate you. But what I'm going to do is, in addition to the live streams and all that, the round table, we're going to start rolling out a new material, which I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm going to start doing my weekly assessments of the shorter videos, basically, of Sister Wives, so that way folks who may not have time to sit through the mega length lives will have like some smaller content to be able to digest, which will be far more pointed, and it will hit maybe some of the highlight things that I will discuss, or things that I notice, or things that kind of either rub me the wrong way or rub me the right way, or maybe just stuff I want to talk about with regard to Sister Wives. So stay tuned for that. So it really helps if you have the subscribe button clicked and ringing a bell for notifications, so that way you guys get notified. I want to try to come up with a schedule too, so that way you kind of know when stuff's going to drop. It's not going to just come out of nowhere. All right. I think that's that. We've had enough of the announcements. James, what's going on? Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh, I forgot to upload those pictures. And I will be uploading some pictures of the stuff I did. And you'll be able to see my stuff very soon. I have to get some oils and spirits to put on the project to finish it. And then I'm going to hang it in the background. And we're going to go au natural, live, raw. We're going to have the, raw footage going camo style. So we're going to have the office background in the background too. For some of my videos and all that, because this doesn't really work with my videos. That's why I wasn't doing them. But enough of all that craziness, guys. We got some burners on here, and there's some things that we got to talk about with regard to, like there. I think there were a few calls where they talked about McKelty. For those who don't know, I'm going to give a quick analysis, real quick, just so that everybody's on the same page as we go through some of the speak pipe calls. During McKelty's, I think she has like a private show or whatever. She had made reference, and I'm not violating any rules, because like I've seen where McKelty has said that she wants people, or she encourages content creators to talk about her content, even if it's behind a paywall, because she understands what's going on. 1, 2, she understands it helps the content creator, but I mean, let's be honest, us talking about it encourages people to go to her site and subscribe to her paywall, her I forget what it's called, but so it's kind of it's smart on her part because she scratches content creators' backs and they promote her show, her podcast, so everybody wins. But in any event, she was in this podcast where she was talking about her colada ring. Now, the brown young ladies, the of course the wives as well as the daughters, were supposed to receive a colada ring from Kody at a certain age, right? And according to McKelty, she was always promised that she would be given a colada ring by Kody, but he kept insisting that she was doing this wrong and she was doing that wrong. She wasn't acting this way, wasn't acting that way, and she didn't deserve one, so he never got her one. So, being jealous and envious of her sisters who had already received colada rings, Aspen, McKelty, or no, Aspen, Madison, at the time, Leon, uh, when they were using their dead name, so on and so forth, McKelty went out and bought her own colada ring, right? And at some point, she was talking to her mom about it. And she told her mom that she bought her own colada ring. And according to McKelty, and this is me kind of hearing it third hand because I didn't see the original, but apparently Christina said, no, Robyn told me that your dad bought you the ring. She's like, no, I didn't. Dad didn't buy me the ring. I bought the ring. Right. And so we'll hear some more about that during the phone calls. But I wanted to make sure that everybody was kind of on the same page as far as what was going on, in case it's not really clear during the phone call commentary what was happening. All right. So without further ado, let's get right into the phone calls so that we can get her done. We have D up front. Here we go, D.
First off, James, I just love you. I just watched you go off about Kody and telling him to come at a real one. That was awesome. My thought is the OG3, couple of them were raised that way, and another one got indoctrinated. So I don't understand why everyone comes at them with our frame of mind about how we were raised as opposed to how they were raised. It was different. They were taught to be sweet, to know their place. They were even taught that if their husband didn't love them, they needed to work on themselves because they needed to do what they needed to do. And I think that gets lost a lot of times in the conversation. Don't get me wrong. I'm upset that they lied to us, but that gets lost. And that's critical whenever you're talking about them. Thank you. Love the show. Love you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, D. I appreciate that. The one thing that I will say that we have to be careful about, well, because I don't mind recognizing causes for why people may act the way they act. However, we have to be very careful about how far we're taking it. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is simply this. If we give to the ladies that they were raised to keep sweet and be subordinate to their husbands, to serve their husbands, and that's why they acted the way they act, and that's the reason that we give. And it does have some credence. I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't. It does hold water. Then wouldn't we also have to give that same consideration to Kody? Because he too was raised in a situation where he was taught that women should be subservient to him. Women should serve him, that he shouldn't be concerned about his kids and anyone who he comes in contact with regard to the family should not only be loyal, but should be submissive to him and his authority. That is also how he was raised. And I use not only the stereotype of the faith in general. I'm also speaking specifically about the experiences of Kody's nephew, who insisted that Kody's father was a very hard man. Even when Kody was on the show complimenting his dad, oh, he was a manly man and he came out with his cowboy hat dripping wet and all the women was getting weak in the knees when they saw him leading a horse in the rain. And that's how he got him, because he was just that kind of man. Even though he was mean and nasty, if you recall that conversation, even in the light of him saying that how awesome his dad was and how he was this manly man who attracted all these women, he still said his dad was a hard man. Right? So, in light of the fact that he grew up in a household with a hard man who was mean and nasty, and his brothers who are a lot more strict than he is, because according to Kody's nephew, Kody was actually the very cool one. He was the progressive uncle. He was the relaxed uncle. So, should we give credit to Kody? Because he wasn't as bad as he could have been based on his upbringing. And this is why I say that we have to be, I mean, I understand giving some consideration for the way people are being brought up, but everybody has to carry their own water at some point. Like, I get it. Like, it's hard. It's not fair. This is how you were taught. This is how you were raised. This is how you were indoctrinated. But at some point, everybody has to kind of carry their own water. And if as we pardon victims, those same excuses can be made for the perpetrators. And that's what I want to be very careful of, is we can't just rely on it and say, okay, we'll excuse everything. But in that case, nobody's at fault. It's not Mary, Janelle, or Christine's fault, because that's how they were raised. But then at the same time, it's not Robyn or Kody's fault for taking advantage of them, because that's how they were raised. Robyn was raised by a woman who was the second wife to a man who had an already established family, whom he would spend Monday through Friday with, and come and see Robyn's family mom on the weekend. So I'm sure that was a conversation, whether it was an internal dialogue that Robyn was having with herself about not wanting to be the secondary wife, secondary class citizen, experiencing it as a child, what it's like to grow up in a household where the father's primary focus is on his first family across town or in a different state. And then on the weekend, the secondary family gets kicked in. I don't want to be the secondary family, so I'm going to make sure that I'm in the first group. And I'm sure Robyn's mother probably talked to her about making sure that she was in that first group, the importance of being in that first position. So Robyn is doing what she was raised to do. It's not Robyn's fault. That's just how she was raised. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? That's why I say that people kind of take the positions they do. I mean, maybe it comes off that we're being hard on them, but my positions, I'm just trying to be objective. Like, not necessarily judging from my understanding of how I see the world, but just an objective truth. If you are a parent, you should take care of your kids. I don't think that I'm not going to sit and say that, if you grew up in a household as a father where you could ignore your children, that, well, that's just how you were raised. So the fact that your kid fell down the steps and you told him to wait till after the game was over because that's how you were raised is okay, because that's how you were raised. I don't think that necessarily is copacetic. But again, I appreciate because it is important that we also keep that in mind. I think that is important. So thank you very much for reminding us, D, the importance of making sure that we at least take it into consideration before we get too hard on them. Because like even as Mary said, with regard to dating, when they were dating, even in that instance, many of us, this is how you go out with guys and this is how you meet people. She doesn't have that experience. She's a rookie. She's a dating rookie. When they date people, they go out 3-4 times and they start planning, marriage, the wedding ceremony and stuff. So yeah. I mean, they have very short, I won't say it. I mean, that's flippant, but they have very short courtships. They're not courting somebody or going steady for years. They get right to it. So they don't waste time with it. So if you date somebody, you're pretty much courting them to figure out whether you're going to marry this person. The objective is not to get to know them. The objective is to ultimately marry them, like first and foremost, and understanding that. So, thank you very much for that, D. The next person we have CJ. And she came prepared.
Howdy, James and crew. This is CJ, and I have a few sister-wife thoughts. If it sounds like I'm reading this, it's because I'm reading this. It keeps me focused and kind of on task. First random thought. Allegedly, while in high school, Robyn allegedly stole her sister's alleged boyfriend. Then she allegedly became pregnant. Allegedly, she and the boyfriend got married. Now, many folks say this is not how one sister should treat another. Nay, I say. Perhaps allegedly, Robyn was just sister girlfriending prior to sister wifing.
She said sister girlfriending. Oh, we have some more from CJ, but real quick before we get too far along. She said sister girlfriend. I'm sorry. It tickles me. I'm tickled. We had something from D. Giving a little clarification. I see your point. I was saying we need to factor that in and give some grace to them to them being brainwashed, which I agree. I mean, I do think that it's hard because we strive, especially in a format that the show is being presented. Just talking about the brainwash part, in a format that the show is being presented on a television show, we are conditioned when we watch a television show, that issues, problems, and conflicts will arise either in a half-hour format, 30-minute format, or an hour format. And at the end of that hour or half hour, whatever conflict arises is resolved. If it's not resolved, it's kind of a cliffhanger series where if it's not resolved this episode, it will be resolved in the very next episode. So at maximum, you will have a half hour to hour to an hour to 2 hour event where problem rises, conflict arises, resolution. That's it. With this, especially with reality TV shows, I forget who it was, but they said it perfectly. This is very much like the format of a soap opera, where you could watch a soap opera for years and they're still on the same damn day, right? It'll be Friday the 13th, 1996. You start watching it, Friday the 13th, 1996. It's the morning time, Friday the 13th, 1996 on the show. And then by 2010 is Friday the 13th, 1996 afternoon. That's what I mean. So much has happened in all over all those years. It only covered about half a day, 3 hours. And that's pretty much what we're watching. Time is slowed. The conflicts are never resolved. And they're kind of, and I think that part of our frustration is the fact that the conflicts aren't being resolved at all. And they're just kind of being reintroduced. The only conflict that is like developing or new is just new conflict that the person is just heaping on top of them, whereas the old conflict has never been resolved. So it's just pain on top of pain being inflicted. And I think that is hard to watch. So in light of that, we just come harder with the criticism about they need to leave, they need to get out. And I think that there is a part where we do ignore the fact that, they were brainwashed or they were raised or cultivated in a way to make them more amenable to the leadership of said organization, whether it's the head of household, the family, or whether it's the church, or whether it's the church leaders. Like, it's all done. And that's the weird thing about it. We have to keep in mind when we talk about a lot of these organizations and institutions, they aren't designed just so that they can raise up men. Nay. They're designed to put people to shrink the people in charge. So you have the men, The family is supposed to adhere to the men who adhere to the church, and the church adheres to the prophet. And so everything is geared towards you having leadership or trusting in the words of the prophet. So that's how it's geared. It's not just that they're celebrating all men because they love men and they want men to feel like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. They celebrate men because they want to put people in control that they can control. They're directing us. And this is part of the reason, like, to go on a little bit of a tangent. One of the things that I always talk about is make sure you support your local newspaper. Why, James? Why? Not to be too crazy as far as politics is concerned, but when you support your local newspapers will tell you about what's going on in your communities, in your neighborhoods, and in the place where you live, the things that affect you the most. What we're doing is we're getting rid of the local newspapers, and instead we're relying on internet channels, YouTube, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, mainstream channels who are now even coming over to the internet. They have web pages, they have channels, and they talk about things on a national level, and we get all worked up and riled up about it, and everybody becomes an expert on said subject. If it's COVID, everybody's a phlebotomist or virologist when it comes, not phlebotomist, but virologist when it comes to like legal matters. Everybody, all of a sudden, everybody's Darrow, the greatest legal minds ever. And we become so wrapped up in what's happening in the big picture that we lose focus about what's happening with us. And the reason why we're being shifted that way is because that makes it easier for people in power to control what we think and what we consume and what we know, because we're not talking about the things that affect us directly, the things that are more important to us than what's going on in, say, Montana, or if a school board guy gets cussed out in San Francisco, that doesn't affect me. But if my local politician, my mayor or my commissioner or council person or town supervisor is taking bribes, CNN, MSNBC isn't covering that. Local newspapers are. So it's shrinking down your focus of influence, so that way when you make commands, orders, dictates, or whatever, you don't have to spread it across the whole community. You have a small select group of folks that you can focus it on. And that's why they uplift the men in these groups, because they're shrinking down the population of people the influential people that they have to control. That's what I think it is. That might be a little heavy for a Thursday. But CD also said, I'm with you though. We have to hold each person accountable for their behavior. So I agree with that. I don't want to get too crazy with it, but that's what I see when it comes to the whole idea of patriarchy. It's not that they're celebrating men. It's just that it's a method of control, period. It's not that men are great and we wonderful and they think that men are better than women. No, it's a method of control. Full stop. But thank you so much, D, for clarifying. Hey, Tamia Adams, what's going on? Let's get back to CJ. CJ, you're killing me. Awesomeness.
It's CJ again, thinking about Robyn taking Christine's place in the Kody Brown family. Christine nourishes the Brown family while Robyn makes that bomb lasagna. I think it's more like that lasagna bombed or sits like a bomb. Do not even get me started on that picture of Kody and the 03 Sullivan Jessup kids. And remember the cute stories of the OG Brown kids playing in Christine's backyard with the fairy towns or make-believe happy places? But who got the fancy, pimped-out, expensive, verdant, bucolic Las Vegas backyard? Since I speak sister wives, let me bring this all together for you. Kody is just sitting there telling Christine to be more like Robyn. Robyn is just sitting there trying to out Christine. Christine is just sitting there getting flipping whiplash I need to be more like Robyn, who's being more like me. I need to out me. Cue the existential crisis.
Cue the existential crisis. That was actually awesome because if you really think about it, that is the craziest part of the whole thing. Because there are aspects of Christine, like I think that there's a misnomer. I don't think that Robyn admired the fact that Christine was doing all that work that she was doing. I think, wow, I wish I was working like that. I wish I had a full-time job where I was just taking care of kids all day. I don't think that's what it was. I think what she admired was the results. She admired the results that Christine had by having worked all that time, worked herself up. You know, she wanted what Christine had, but she didn't want to do what Christine was doing, if that makes sense. So she didn't want to be the big party planner and the function planner, which Christine was, where she took care of like the holidays, birthdays, graduations, remembered everybody's like, life events and things of that nature and planned celebrations accordingly. That's who Christine was. She was the Brown family party planner. And because of that, she was popular, especially between the family. And she had a lot of control in the sense that she was making so many plans. Because if you plan in a party, you control where the party is, what we doing for the party, what the theme is for the party. So much of that with regard to what's going on. And Queen Robyn wanted to have say, but she didn't want to do the work. Right? She didn't, because she could have jumped in there. And Kody would have been more than happy. He would have loved if Robyn would have came in and said, I am taking over the parties from now on. So shall it be said. So shall it be done. Like, he would have loved that shit. If she would have took over the parties and she would have started throwing parties for everybody and leading the family that way, he would have loved it. The problem was Robyn had no interest in doing that much work because she wasn't trying to come in contact with the kids that much. She wasn't trying to do her own damn kids, much less somebody else's. So that wasn't a thing. So what she wanted to have all the popularity, but she didn't want to do the work. And that's the hard part about it. That's the challenge, right? Because you see somebody's success, you see a Kobe Bryant, or you see a Michael Jackson, or you see somebody who rises to a certain level of greatness in their particular field, Denzel Washington, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins, on and on and on. You see these people who have perfected their craft because they worked on their craft. And then you see them all you see is them walking down the red carpet. But you don't see the hard nights when they were trying to, get in rehearsals, where they were going to practice, where they were, up missing nights at the clubs or at the parties, and they were in the gym, or they were at the in class, or they were doing things to improve themselves so that they can get to that point where they can walk up and down the red carpet and be celebrated at the Oscars, the Tonys, the Emmys, the Grammys, or whatever the case may be, or hold up the trophy at the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup, celebration. You don't see the hard work. All you see is the celebration and the good times. You see the smile on their face. You see them pull up in the big house or in the big car in front of the big house with the beautiful wife or the handsome husband, but you don't see the work, right? And that's where I think Robyn was. That's the impression I get. She saw all the love that Christine was receiving from the family, but she didn't want to have anything to do with the work part of it. She went, what? What do you mean I gotta watch them every day? For years, right? Because the relationships Christine had with those kids wasn't built because she was fun and did a fun comment during a party, or she made everybody laugh because she wisecracked and said something about Kody's curly hair bouncing up and down and how he looked kind of, this, that, and the other, right? That's not how Christine was able to get popularity. She was in there day in, day out, talking to them, solving their problems, cooking for them, listening to their issues, helping them with things day in and day out. It wasn't a one conversation thing. It's not a one conversation fix. And I think that that's what bothers her. And ultimately, I think that's also part of the reason why she doesn't want anything to do with the kids. And she's not really as much as she said, I love those kids. She doesn't really want to have those kids around. You could love them from afar, right? You can love somebody from across the street. You know what I mean? Everybody got that family member. You know, I love them. I love them. But you don't open the door when they come by. You know, you ring the doorbell. Everybody, get on the ground. Get on the floor. Get on the floor. Don't go near the window. Get away from that damn window. but I love them. You know, and I think that's where Robyn was. I don't think she was in there trying to do the work. You know, it just because she wasn't even, like I said, she wasn't even trying to. She definitely wasn't trying to get too involved because she wanted to keep her family separate because she wanted to protect her position with her children. And she don't even want to run the risk that, okay, I'll watch everybody's kids come on over. I'm gonna be the fun time mom, because if she did that, she would make her kids vulnerable to go over to Christine's house, in which case they might fall in love with Christine and be over Christine's house and think she's the great mom and see her on equal footing as her. Because again, I think that a lot of what Robyn had going on was relative love. She wanted to make sure that she was better than somebody else. And she could not handle the idea or notion, which I think most people are in that boat. If I'm gonna be frank, I don't know too many mothers want their kids calling somebody else mom. I don't know too many dads that get excited when their child calls somebody else daddy. You understand what I mean? So I think that's part of it. Let's listen to CJ3.
It's CJ for the last time, I promise. Riddle me this. As a tenant of their cult of faith, is that suffering is a-okay for the ladies. It's like suffer today on earth, and you will be rewarded with buku, posthumous, intergalactic delight. But wait, there's more. It's like compounding interest. Most sister witch suffering today, most space cadet happiness mañana. So why? Why are all these lovelies told they need to get past all the things that are bothering them? Like jealousy, body image. Why would their priesthood holder encourage them to decrease their suffering? Does he want these women to have just a meh celestial experience? A good priesthood holder would pour gas on the suffering, and then toss on a cigarette butt, and then fan the flames. Maybe chop down some trees for additional firewood. That's my take.
All right, CJ with the clever CJ coming with the cleverness. That's awesome. You know what? And the crazy part, when you speak about the suffering, let's talk about the suffering for a minute. Excellent analysis, by the way. But let's talk about the suffering. When it comes down to the suffering, they see it as almost a tribute. It's the wives' sacrifice that earns them their space in heaven. It's how much have you suffered? Because depending on how much you suffered, that tells us how much you've learned and how much you've grown. Isn't that wonderful? These men are telling these women to suffer because it's not that I want to benefit from your suffering. I merely want you to grow. Like, how insane is that? I'm going to cheat on you in front of your face because I want you to be a better person. I mean, that's some pimp shit. That's straight up pimp shit. I'm going to cheat on you because I want you to be a better person. Okay, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be excellent. I'm gonna be amazing in the afterworld. I will, right? Because isn't that how they see it? Like when you get jealous and you calm your jealousy, those voices of jealousy, and you allow your husband to go off with women and you don't feel anything about him going off with women, but somehow, some way, you're still in love with this man and loyal to this man, even though you don't care what he does. What? I don't care what he does, but I love him. And I'll follow him to the end of the world because I want to be submissive to him. But I don't care nothing about him. What? It's just, I don't know. It's like I said, I don't know how they hold their head straight. Definitely can't hold their head up talking out of both ends of their neck like that. It's insane. It's insanity. And I don't trust, I said this before, but I don't trust anybody who say that, your salvation relies on your suffering now, because I don't believe we were born to suffer. I don't think that we were slated to suffer. We suffer in this world because of decisions that men make because we have free will. we're going to get theological about it. I think that we suffer because we were tasked with the responsibility of having free will, meaning that we're supposed to make choices to look out for one another. We don't. And so therefore we increase the suffering on this planet because it's up to us to make this world either great or evil. And based on our choices and our decisions is where we find ourselves as far as where our condition on this planet. It's not up to God to fix the planet. It's up to us. We're the caretakers. We're the ones who are supposed to make decisions. If he came down and fixed shit, every time somebody did something evil, he came down smiting them and then, turned stuff, whatever they stole or took or robbed from the person, they give back to that person. He's taking away our choices. Choices have consequences. And so if we sit here and we try to wrap our arms around suffering and degradation of our wives, our children, our loved ones, and people in our faith, then what we're actually doing is we're making choices. We're using our free will to choose to make them suffer. And I think that that's where a lot of this doesn't make sense to me. Like I get what they're trying to say. It makes you, working hard and, because I've even said, there's no fails, there's just lessons. There's no failures, there's just lessons. It's not losing, it's a lesson, right? I believe that life can shape you into something better by you being denied something or having to work for something. It can make you do better. Right. As I'm trying to work my way through even my personal experience, as I'm trying to work my way up through YouTube, I have to learn new and different skills in order to become better. And so I think that I don't even think, I know that the skill set that I have right now, as far as being able to, I can, do the live streams and all that. But as far as editing, as far as like software, using image software, generating cartoons, I didn't know how to do none of this shit a year ago, right? But I have to step it up because if I want to be better, I have to do better, right? I have to be better. But that's me choosing to grow. But that's not me choosing to suffer. I'm not sitting there saying, you know what I wish? I wish my channel would fail miserably. And then I'll receive holy sanctified help. Like, no, that's not what it's about. The point of it is for you to get better and improve and be stronger. The whole point can't be me suffering. That can't be it. I talked the other day about I was talking to somebody about a issue, and I said, the problem with this particular situation is, you ever hear the term carrot and the stick? If you want to get a ass or a mule to move, you can either tempt them with the carrot and a carrot, and they start moving because of the carrot, or you can take the stick and punish them. The problem is, if you have a situation where you're foregoing the carrot, I don't want to treat you to do the right thing. Instead, I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to put you through pain, difficulty, and strife. The problem with that mentality is hope. If the people lose hope and they don't have any hope, they don't have any form of respite or any form of rest, you're just hurting, you're just jacking their asses up the whole time. You just stick all day. We gonna stick the shit out you, right? Ooh, y'all gonna wear your ass out with this stick. And I'm not taking no breaks, right? Then what happens is you will have revolution, because if I feel like it's never going to stop, the whole purpose of the stick is for me to do whatever you want me to do so that the shit will stop. The suffering has to stop. But if you're telling me that every time I take a step, you're going to hit me with the stick, I'm going to take a step, then because I took a step, you're going to hit me again with the stick, and I'm going to take another step. And even when I step on my own, you're going to hit my ass with the stick. Then what the hell am I stepping for? I need to turn around and put my foot in your ass, because either way, you're going to give me the stick. Whether I step forward, I try to put my foot in your rump shaker. You're going to give me the stick. So this is where, like, this is why I'm also a little reclapped why so many people are sitting like these guys are sitting there looking surprised. You signed up to make these women suffer the whole time, and you can't believe they leave you. I can't believe they left. I mean, I just had a crying and suffering and blubbering for 30 years. Then all of a sudden, it's always all of a sudden. You ever notice that? I had her crying every day for 30 years. Then all of a sudden, she decided that she wanted to leave the family. How selfish could you be? You idiots. Of course they're going to leave because they've been getting stick off for 30 years. They've been getting nothing but the stick. Okay? So yeah, they're gonna step the hell off. Oh man. It's so crazy, man. That is so crazy. I can't believe they left me. I don't know. It just came out of nowhere. I was sitting there minding my own business with my 3 girlfriends. Checking my gambling tickets because I took the family funds and the grocery money and blew it on horse number 5, who blew his leg out on the first turn. And all of a sudden, she's talking about because she got the final notice on the electric, she gonna just leave. You assholes. Surprise, surprise. Where my girl at? Hold on 1 second. I gotta put my girl in. Because these guys, they always say the same shit. And it bothers me. It ain't bothers me. It amuses me that they get all, oh my goodness, I can't believe it happened.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. Christine left. Janelle left. Even Mary left. Mary left? Mary left. That's how you know your ass in trouble. You know you messed up when Mary leaves. This is Raiders Mom. $5 super chat. Wouldn't be me, but I would rather my kid have an additional mom than my hubby an additional wife. I will always be their mom, but marriage is a choice. This is true. I mean, there's bonus moms, but it like when your child calls another person mom or dad, I think it does, like, deep down, you might be grateful for the other person, but deep down, it does hurt a little bit. Like, I can only imagine. Like, that should have hurt a little bit. Yeah, that's gonna leave a mark. Yeah, I mean, as long as they're treating them good, like, of course, as a good parent, most people will be like, as long as you treat my kid with respect, you're treating them well, you know, you're in that authoritative position, and if that's what they feel comfortable calling you, then I'm gonna have to learn to deal with it, right? I'm gonna have to learn to deal with it, but at the same time, it's gonna hurt a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna make you a little misty. You know what I mean? Your eyes gonna sweat a little bit. Just saying. But I dig what you're saying, and I do think that you know, the husband and wife thing, you know, I am a jealous dog, as they say. But yeah, I couldn't do it. Like, it's certain things, because you might even be able to get around, and let's be very honest, let's be very blunt. For some people, you might be able to get around the physical aspect of it, like the sex part, put it where it is, right? You might be able to get around that part. You know, your person's out doing, you know, the freaky deaky with somebody else. But I think that there's a point where that's the first level. The physical part is the first level. I think the part that breaks most people is the intimacy part, where when they're sharing intimate moments with another person, right? That's where I think it becomes like, it's already difficult. Like, the physical part is difficult. I'm not pretending like, oh, that's easy. I'm saying that the physical part is difficult, but it's the intimacy part, the part where you check their phone, like simple shit. Like you check their phone and they the first contact. Like you hit one and they call the other person. Oh, whoa. Yeah, they the first phone call, or they get they get tickets to your favorite band, or performer, singer, or whatever, or artist. And all of a sudden it's, oh yeah, well, I was gonna go with them because they really like it. But I love them. What are you talking about? You stand there wearing a t-shirt. Hello, number one fan. Hello. I'm the one that put you on. Yeah, but I mean, they really would enjoy it. Plus, I like spending time with them with this kind of thing. They're better with you because you'll go there, you'll just be singing the songs and you'll ignore me. I mean, he'll go there and he'll talk to me and we'll have fun. So you guys ain't even gonna listen to the band. Give me the tickets and I'll go. Like, but yeah, I feel you. I feel you, Raiders Mind. Let me give you a little something. Thank you so much. Oh, there was a question that came in asking, what religion am I? Um, I was raised Catholic. My grandfather was a preacher on my father's side. My mother, so they grew up Baptist. Then they converted over to Catholicism to put me in a parochial school. So I grew up with Catholicism with an influence of Baptist, like a Baptist influence. But I spent a lot of time, especially between high school, college, just visiting different churches, faiths, and this, that, and other, reading a lot of different texts, just to try to get a better understanding for myself about a higher power. So I think my faith isn't necessarily nailed down to a specific religion, if that makes sense, but it's more of an amalgamation of what I think makes sense to me. And that's kind of where I am. So I'm not trying to endorse anybody. I'm not even trying to endorse myself. Don't listen to me. Okay. Don't you get to the pearly gates and say this is what James said. Cause yeah, I don't know my name on the list. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want you to be over there with me with the dunce cap on. I'm saying, standing in that sweating ass line. Man, I don't even like the heat like that. I don't know, man. But I just think that I think that just from my perspective, I think that there isn't one road to leads to that destination. I think, like any good parent, I see my relationship with a higher power as a parent-child relationship, and is with any parent, they recognize the needs of their particular child. And it's not necessarily, I want you to do this because this is what I want you to do, but they recognize the individual needs of us all. So I think there are many roads which lead to the same destination, if that makes sense. But again, don't listen to me. I'm just a guy on YouTube. And but yeah, I mean, and I think the root of my faith is just simply, I want the best for everybody. I want everybody to go to heaven. I think heaven's a party that everybody's invited to. You know what I mean? I don't want there to be a list. When I get there, I'm like, oh yeah, so this VIP list. Because if you ever been somewhere like super fancy, like I've had the opportunity, with certain clients when I was working in a corporate America, where we go to like these fancy dancy places. And I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've gone to those dinners and you sit there and eat like this, that, and the other, and it's so fancy and it's French or whatever the hell. And the plates are so big and the food portions are so small. And by the time you get finished dinner, you leave there starving. I gotta go hit a McDonald's or something. This is ridiculous. I don't even want to eat McDonald's. This is crazy. How they just gonna tease a mother like that all damn day, right? So I don't want to be in the food section. I want to be in the section with everybody having a good time. I don't want to be in the I don't want to be in the VIP section where everybody is sitting there so worried about trying to look good amongst each other. I don't want to be down where everybody dancing and having fun. Everybody got a smile on their face. Tiana Cookie said, I'll stand in line. I need to sweat these pounds off. Yeah, but I ain't trying to sweat forever. I feel you, though. I feel you. Well, yeah, let's get back to this, the speak pipes. Let's get back to the speak pipes. Speak pipes. We had Mary Marmolejo.
Hey, James, this is Mary. Hey, I just want to comment on Mary dating. This is so scary. Here's why I think Mary's going to have a lot of problems in the dating world. Mary can't recognize the red flags, the red banners that are waving in front of her, and all the things wrong with Kody. She's going to run into a guy that's a Robyn incarnate in the male form, and he's going to do everything but probably steal her money, treat her bad, not include her in trips or his family things. And she's going to think he's a great guy because why? He's one step up from Kody. He didn't steal her money or something like that. So Mary in the dating world is really scary for me because she hasn't deconstructed enough to realize how bad and how damaging Kody was to herself and her ego. So she's dismissed all of these things. She was this doormat for so many years. Jen is still trying to get her to realize this. Jen's been in her life for over 10 years. Still can't get her to recognize how bad this person was for her. So let me know what you think, James. How much more work do you think Mary has to do? Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. That's the first of Mary's. We have a couple more, but I would defer back to something Dee said early on, where she talked about how they were raised, how they were brought up. And I think that a lot of the deconstruction that Mary's going to have to undergo isn't just from her relationship with Kody, but she's going to have to deconstruct from her upbringing and how she was raised. So I think that that's where, like, I think that that's a critical part where what Dee was talking about maybe us giving Mary a pass, that I think that that's a place where it's entirely relevant. That in order for her to get to that next page, turn that page from her old relationship, it's not just getting over that person, but you have to get over the mindset and the belief system that puts you in a place where you are susceptible to that person. Because what will happen if you don't do that work to get yourself past that mindset, what will happen is you'll get over or get past the person you just left, leave them, go out, start dating, and find yourself in a situation where you're dating or marrying somebody just like the mother you just left. You understand what I mean? It'll be Kody 2.0 or Robyn 4.0. Like, so you have to be very careful and diligent about making sure that you are in a position and mindset where you want to be so that you get the outcome that you want to get as you enter into this new dating world, right? Because, and part of that is just knowing, not just saying what you want. I want somebody who's going to treat me good, somebody who would consider me, and somebody who is taking accountability and blah, blah, blah. It's understanding how you can sharpen your perception on being able to see them, getting the things that you want. I remember story time. I remember there was a time when I was like in high school, right? Maybe a little high school. Yeah, high school. And it seemed like every time I went out, I go to a party, and somehow, some way, I would find myself, getting phone numbers or talking to women or whatever. And everybody I seemed to talk to had a boyfriend or somehow otherwise committed in a relationship or tied into a relationship, but somehow they wanted to squeeze me in and spend time with me. Right. And I was like, oh man. And it took one time for me to say, like, you know what? One, I don't want to be the side dude. Right. Because when you're the side person, and this is a revelation I had a long time ago. At first, it's like, oh, it's fun because then you don't really have no commitment to nobody. You ain't got no responsibilities, whatever. I just do what I want to do. I'm fun. Yeah. Right. Everybody like me. I'm popular. But what you realize is that in that popularity, nobody is accountable to you either. And you aren't accountable to anybody else. Nobody is concerned about you. You are the fun. You're the good time. But when you can no longer be fun, you can no longer be the good time, you're going to be by yourself. You're going to find yourself by yourself. If something were to happen to you, I remember there was one young lady. I went to a convention when I was about 16 years old. We were going for like a weekend, and there was this young lady, and this is a religious convention too. We were in a pool, and I was in pretty good shape. We were in the pool, we were swimming around and stuff, and this young lady came in. We were talking, and somebody splashed her. And I remember she jumped up on me and she wrapped her legs around me. And then we were just like, oh, I'm so scared. We was just standing there talking for a little bit. She get down. I'm like, all right, well, I'm talking to my buddies. And then after that, there was another guy that was there. And I thought they were related, that this was like her brother or something because they had the same last name. As it turned out, they just by coincidence had the same last name, but this was her boyfriend. And she did this shit in front of him. Disrespectful as hell. Right. And it occurred to me at that point, it's like, with somebody like that, if she'll disrespect him, she'll damn sure disrespect me like that. Right. But two, if something were to happen with situations like that, if you allow that shit to happen, if something happens, right? If I'm out driving my car or whatever, and I get into a car accident, she can't come see me because she has responsibilities with this guy. So she's going to the prom with him. She's going to do things with him. I'm just on my own, right? So at that point, I was like, I had to assess myself. Why is it, I told all that to say this, why is it when I go out, I only meet women who have otherwise committed? And I had to self-reflect. I had to self-review. And I had to look at myself and start peeling back. Well, is it me? What's going on? Do I have an issue with commitment? Am I nervous about commitment? These are the kind of questions I had to ask myself as I was self-critiquing. Because what I was subconsciously doing was I was putting myself in a situation with people whom there was no way we were ever going to be in a committed relationship. So I had to break that apart. And if I wanted to develop myself to be in a serious type of relationship or a committed relationship, monogamous relationship, then I had to change how I was approaching my dating or whatever. And what happens is that when you do that type of work, when you go out, you start to see more of your environment, more what's available, more what you can talk to. It's not just you standing there talking to this one young lady, or you only see the married ones. All of a sudden, woo, this place full of women. I thought it was only 4 before. I was here last week. It was only 4. All of them married, or not married, but all of them have boyfriends. But now all of a sudden, like, all these single women started showing up. And that's because you have to open yourself up to it. If she doesn't do the work to open herself up to it, she will only see the Kodys. She will only be attracted to the Kodys, the guys who are just like him. If you don't do that work, that's what's going to happen. And that's how you wind up. You just, like, you're playing the same game. You just changing the players. And that's the one thing that makes me nervous about her. So, I get like the whole dialogue about the worthy up. People need to appreciate my time. People need to earn my space, and they need to earn my presence. I appreciate the dialogue. However, you got to put that shit into practice. It's not enough for you just to say it. Like, I do believe that words have power. That's why most incantations and things of that nature are usually spells or usually spoken, because words do have power, right? If you believe in that kind of thing. But I think that ultimately you have to do the work. What is it? Prayers without works is dead. But if you don't do the work, you got to put the work in to make that shit happen. You can't just sit around. I want a boyfriend. I want somebody who's 6 feet tall, 6'5", muscles, rich. We can go on vacation all the time. Well, how are you trying to get that guy, this unicorn of a man? Maybe I shouldn't say that. That's what swingers use. But there's this special type person. How you gonna get that kind of person? Well, I'm gonna just sit in my house and wait for them to come and get me because I'm so special that if they want me, they gonna have to come and get me because not everybody is worth my time. Well, that person is never coming to your house ringing the doorbell, so you have to put yourself in position for that. So what are you doing to make that shit happen? And that's where I'm a little skeptical. And you also have to be realistic about stuff. You know what I mean? Like if I got, you get divorced tomorrow, you 50 years old, you can't expect to meet a woman. Well, I'm going to only date women between 45, 40 is the lowest number, 40 to 50. She have to be single, no kids, never married. She got to be a dime piece. Have her own money where like she's a CEO, and she has to be willing to be submissive. So wait, you want her to have her own business that she worked and built up over the course of years, foregoing marriage and children, working on this business to build it up so she can hand it over to you? Exactly. Well, prepare to die alone. You understand what I mean? Like that's you just got to be realistic with your stuff too. But again, I think that also plays a part into, I'm sorry, I'm kind of droning on, but that kind of plays a part into it too, is the expectations that you set a lot of times will be based on you self-sabotaging. So you try to make the demand that you want a person that is unrealistic, that doesn't exist, this perfect, crazy, awesome person that would only exist in fantasies, and that's the only person you would ever date. Otherwise, you're going back to Kody. Then what you're telling me is you're going back to Kody. Let's hear what Mary has to say. Part 2.
Hey, James. Hey, just seeing Senior Perspective Jenny. She has an absolute great More to Love scenes out from episode 3. Anyway, she has uncovered that in order for Kody to sell the Shit Chateau 1.0, they had a lot of work they had to do that must have been written in the contract. So Kody says they had to get a remediation team. He had to get sheetrock team. He had to get tile people, and he had to get flooring people to do all the work in that house before they could sign on the contract. And Kody had to be the one with the integrity and oversight of all of those crews. That was written in the contract. But anyway, go check out Jenny's Senior Perspective, More to Love scenes. Absolute fabulous. Let me know what you think about that.
All right, I'll check it out. Jenny's a friend of the channel. The one thing I will say is ultimately, if you're selling the house, most cases, when they go in and they do the inspection, they're going to have things that they want done in the house. Like nobody's, especially that's what I was talking about before when I was saying that you have a price point of over $500,000. I'll even start there. Like anything over $500,000, most likely, depending on the market, of course. Like if you're in New York or California, a little different. Miami, a little different. It might be a little higher. But most places, $500,000 or more, they're not trying to go in and fix shit up. I'm not trying to raise a hammer in this place. What are you talking about? Especially not on day one. I'm not trying to figure out what I'm going to do. If I want to tear something up or tear something out, it's going to be suited for the particular property. And if you are buying something at an accelerated rate, like a $500,000 or $1 million home, and you plan to go in there and do a whole bunch of rehab, then that $500,000 that you pay for the house is for a property that potentially could be worth $1 million. Or if you pay $1 million for a property, I think they sold the McMansion for like $1.6 million. If you buy a $1.6 million and that house isn't turnkey ready, you turn the key, you could go move your shit in and start living in it right away. If it's not turnkey ready, and usually at $1.6 million, those people have accelerated tastes as well. So it's not just the fact that your toilets work. Like your bathroom is updated. It's a contemporary bathroom that they're talking about, right? If I have to do that much work, then that house better be worth at least $3 million. If I'm going in there tearing out the bathroom, tearing out the kitchen, updating stuff, having to redo a whole bunch of stuff, especially holes in the damn drywall. Oh, we knocking thousands of dollars off. We're knocking thousands. Look, I bought a house, and I'm telling you right now, if I went into a place, they got holes kicked into the walls, and I could fix stuff. Look, quiet as it's kept. James can fix some damn drywall. I've done my fair share of drywall repair. I can fix drywall. Okay, no problem. All right. But if I go in there and there's holes in the walls, yeah, it's only gonna cost me maybe, you know, depending on how big the holes are and how extensive the damage, it might only cost. I might already have this shit. It might not cost me anything. I most likely already got the material to fix the hole. But you could bet your ass when I talk to my realtor, I'm like, yeah, you tell them to take off 10,000. I'm not, no, because I might have to hire a guy. I am the guy. I might have to get them to paint. Yeah, I am the painter. I'm gonna have to take like a whole 2 weeks. It might only take me 3-4 days, but it's gonna be a $10,000 job because I know how much they're gonna charge. The contractor gonna charge me if I make them come in and do it. So yeah, I mean, it just behooves you. So yeah, and then absolutely at $1.6 million, damn right, I'm making you do it, especially if I know because these guys talk. These guys talk. Realtors talk. Sometimes uncomfortably so. Especially if you got a new guy. He'll go in and tell him, yeah, Kody got to sell his house because he's really trying to get out of this house because he has a $2.1 million home that he put a bid in. And that sale is contingent on them selling this $1.6 million home, the McMansion. So we're really motivated to get this sale done. And as soon as you tell the other realtor that, first thing he's going to say is, okay, well, either they fix this, and this, or they take off a significant amount of money so that the buyers can fix all those things. What do you think? And in order to save that money, you a lot of times as a seller would make out better to go ahead and fix the stuff yourself, do the repairs yourself. Because I know there was a lot of damage in that house. Like people who went in the house, I know Kody was upset about that. Yo, I was creeped out. Whatever, motherfucker. It is what it is. But people went into the house. They were saying a lot of that was in disrepair. Like the for instance, the house where he dropped the tree onto the house, the balcony was coming away from the house, was breaking away from the house. So that has to be repaired. Because if the city come out and look at that, or the county come out and look at that, they can make you take that damn balcony off. they'll have you remodel your house. So yeah. But let's get Mary number 3.
Okay, James, last one. I speak Robyn. Yeah, this is Mary again. I speak Robyn in that Robyn said Mykelti has her ring. So meaning that she allowed Christine to jump to the conclusion that Kody bought Mykelti's ring, and Christine didn't really have a reason to talk to Mykelti about the ring because she's assuming Kody purchased Mykelti's colada ring when in fact Mykelti got her own ring. So yes, Robyn, lying by omission, did not say how Mykelti got her ring. So here's my Robyn speak. Let me know what you think.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have more extensively about the ring, but this is the situation I was explaining earlier, where there was some deception with regard to the ring, and I have a position on this that some folks may not like. But I think there's a lot of fault to go around with that whole ring debacle. Because Mykelti was triangulated as far as from Kody, much like the wives were. That's just how Kody was conducting a lot of his relationships, and that relationship with Kody was inherited by the children from the mothers. So he turned all the mothers against each other. He pegged them and made them to a point dislike one another, and then sat and complained about how none of them got along and they all disliked each other. in a situation and environment that he himself created, right? So he turns Mary against Christine. He gives Christine something, gives Christine a birthday present or Christmas present, doesn't give Mary anything, and tells Mary that he spent all of Mary's money on Christine, and thereby Mary, instead of being mad at Kody, is now mad at Christine, and Christine feels a certain kind of way because Kody did that to Kody did that to Mary. But when Mary starts being nasty to Christine, now all of a sudden Mary and Christine are arguing over something Kody did. And like, same, he gives something to McKelty, Leon, Aspen, and then when it's McKelty's turn to get that same item, oh no, you're being bad. You're not living up to the standards of this other person. I want you to do what these other people are doing, which is exactly what he was doing to the OG3 when it came to Robyn. You guys want me to start hanging out at your house? You have to start treating me the same way Robyn's treating you. Well, what the hell's Robyn doing? I don't understand. Well, I don't know. You just got to figure it out. And that's a way to keep you guessing and keep you on the line. It's a very it's a lazy man's way of manipulating and taking advantage of people. It's lazy, it's cheap, and it's dumb, and it has tremendous potential to backfire on you. Tremendous potential to backfire. It's almost always it will backfire on you and end badly. But silly people do silly shit, and sometimes people, motherfuckers want to ice skate uphill. Like it is what it is. Pardon my French, but that's what I think that's all it came down to when it was just an opportunity for him to be able to triangulate and force McKelty to feel bad about herself, question herself, and feel like she's always on the ball, trying to figure out what Kody wants and how she can improve, how she can do better. But he's not being specific as to what she can do, because the second you start to try to improve, all of a sudden the goalpost moves a little bit. So you reach that next point, and all of a sudden the goalpost shifts a little more. And it always is just out of reach. And you're always just struggling to try to do something. And this was also a way that Kody could punish Christine, much like he did with Isabel. I don't think that him not going to Isabel's surgery was about Isabel. I think that was a means and method for him to be able to punish Christine, because he knew that was important to Christine, and him neglecting or ignoring or abandoning her children was a way that he could hurt her. It's emotional abuse, and that's what he was partaking in. So it very well may have been something that McKelty herself wasn't doing anything wrong. She wasn't completely out of order, out of pocket, or completely crazy. It was just, I'm tired of Christine's shit. She's not accepting Robyn. She keeps getting on my back about treating her the same way I treat Robyn. So I'm going to show you I'm not going to treat your daughter the same way I'm treating other girls. Welcome to it. As my, you know what I mean? I'm not going to treat her the same way that I'm treating other girls. So here you go.
Surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise.
And to that, I would look at Kody and say, okay, you've successfully alienated your one wife, Christine. Then you turn around and you've alienated your daughter. And now you're starting to reap the consequences of your actions. And to that, I just have one more clip that I'm going to play.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Congratulations, you played yourself, because now she's using that ammo, because I'm sure there's plenty of buckets. You guys have been giving them buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and boxes of ammo to use against you in your efforts to try to punish and mistreat their mothers. And now, because they've lost that loyalty to you and they've severed those ties, they're going to turn those guns on you. And welcome to the Guns of Navarone. Okay? They're coming for your ass, bro. This is like the was it the mariachi? You know what I'm saying? Not yet, with Antonio Banderas and homegirl, what's her name? Damn, I forget her name. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I think that's where that came from. But I'll have some more commentary on that as we go through the speak pipes. Speaking of more speak pipes, we have Ann coming through. What does Ann have to say?
Hey, this is Ann. I love your show. Thank you for doing this, for me to have somebody to share the joy that is, and also the frustration that is, the sister wives. I think that McKelty has been fawning over her dad for a long time, but I think that that's how they're raised. I think that girls are supposed to keep their smile on their face all the time, but you're supposed to go to the head of the family with all things first. And that means going to Kody and going to Robyn. And if she went to anyone else first before dad and his chosen wife, that will go badly. Thank you for letting me share what my opinion about what's happening. Thank you. Bye.
Dang dong it, Ann cracked the code on that one. Ann cracked the code. What she was referring to is, why did McKelty go to Robyn and Kody and tell them about her twins before she went to Christine, which seemed kind of cold and seemed kind of off for a lot of reasons. But Ann makes the very, very, very awesome observation of that is the order in which things would be done in a patriarchal system. You might have a closeness to your natural mother, but you would always go back to the patriarch, the father, the leader, and inform him first. He shouldn't be finding out secondarily from somebody who is considered his subordinate, right? So that does make, I mean, as jacked up as this sounds, and I please understand, I understand this shit is crazy what I'm about to say. But in that world, it does make sense that you very well may go back and tell your father, even if you're estranged from him, right? You'll try to tell him to gain his approval. And the ironic part about it is to synthesize this part a little more, like to synthesize that deluxe strain, right, of true tomfoolery in this particular situation. The same way we watch these women, the wives, the OG3, chase after Kody season after season, month after month, year after year to try to gain his approval and his attention, it's not that far-fetched that the children would also do the same thing with that same person. I mean, it's just as crazy as that is, that they were raised, bred, and taught, if not trained, to do that. They were trained, like even Christine, when she talks about it, when Kody came over to the house, they were told to drop everything that they had going on and focus all attention on Kody and his needs, his wants, his desires, to make his time at their house very special. So you raised them year after year, month after month, doing that thing, occasion after special occasion, to try to seek his attention and approval, especially in light of the fact that if the children are good children and they're suitable and they're kind and they're sharing with the dad and they're giving him these jewels, these gems of information, then that might give favor to the mother. So the kids are encouraged and incentivized to go to him and tell him things to try to make him happy, so that it not only reflects positively on the children, but it would also reflect positively on their mother. And that person, that caretaker who's taking care of them, it may reflect in how they treat them when dad's not around. So if I can make dad happy and dad loves coming over, he says how special this visit was because I shared this thing with him, and he loves coming over to mom's house, mom might treat me extra special this week. Maybe I'll get extra cookies. Maybe I'll get more allowance. Maybe I have more leeway when it's something I want to do, or go hang out with my friends, or I get more TV time or screen time or game time because I made mom happy because I did this for dad. And that's how she, and we go into like the whole psychology of how they were raised. If that's how they were raised, it would make sense. To Ann's point, it would make sense that they would go back and tell Kody and Robyn about their pregnancy and life events before they went and told Christine. Now, we may have a problem with it because, as Dee pointed out early on, that's not how you take care of the people who took care of you. You look out for the people who look out for you, right? Right. But if you were raised in a culture and community where you're supposed to adhere to, not only be subordinate to, but adhere to rules guided towards making a father's or the patriarch's life easier, and you give him that reward, that grace, that respect. Remember, I don't care about love. I don't need respect. That's a form of respect. You're telling me about this life event first because you respect me. as your father. So I mean, I can see that. But excellent point, Ed. Excellent point. That's quiet as it's kept. That's why I like these speak pipes and you guys get involved because you guys tell me stuff and I'll be like, oh, oh. But next up we have Caramel Cuties and she's coming in hot, y'all. So be careful. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey James, my take family, it's Carmel Cutie. I missed the live call-in show on Tuesday. I ended up getting a call from my baby girl letting me know that she was blessed to get a job at a law firm out of 6 months out of graduating college. But nevertheless, it was a proud mom moment, so I kind of missed hanging out with you guys. This may be a long one, so let me start by saying I enjoyed.
Well, before we get too far, let's put some hearts in the chat for Caramel Cutie's daughter who got a job, got some employment coming out of college, which is always awesome, especially if it's something that she wanted to do. So let's put some hearts in the chat for her daughter, not only for graduating, but for getting some positive employment. So let's throw some hearts in the chat for her. Thank you, guys. And let's continue with Caramel Cutie. Don't you know I forgot to hit the button? Oh, what you doing, James? Oh, gotta find it. Hold 1 second. And now we shall continue with Carbo Cuties.
All everybody's take on Tuesday from the Sunday show. The part with Peyton I'll start with, maybe a couple parts that I'm gonna call back for. So just bear with me, you guys. Peyton's part crushed me. It hurt my heart to know, and we all know how close with Big G's he was. His best friend, and I can understand him wanting to get out of the military and probably wanting to get out of his surroundings in Utah, and yes, get closer to Janelle, because that's where he spent majority of his time anyways, because Christine had too many females in the house running around with, attitudes and cycles and PMS and whatever else. So I don't blame him for always being at Janelle's hanging out with his brothers and knowing that Garrison was his bestie. That kind of touched my heart and hurt me a little bit. And I could see why Christine kind of, caters a little bit more to Peyton with affection than she made her girls, because he was her only son. And at a young age, he started telling her he was the man of the house. I'm sure that hit her a tad bit different than having, 4 girls running around with bossy attitudes.
We're going to jump right to Caramel Cuties 2.
All right, part 2. I agree with what Megatron's take was regarding Robyn and stating, how Robyn took what she wanted and put it above the kids. And for that, yeah, I agree. She's horrible. But I don't remember if it was Megatron or James that said, it was a competition and the other women should have jumped on and tried to compete as well. And my take with that is I don't think they could. If they would have done half the shit that Robyn did, Kody would have put his foot down and it would have been a done deal. And my question to that would be, what would have been their other alternative? Leave, be single moms, especially Janelle and Christine. Once they got to Vegas, single moms, 6 kids in the house, no income, no job, no nothing. And I understand, yeah, they probably could have got a job, but let's be real. With 6 young kids at tow, who was going to watch the kids while they went out and worked? They still would have been in a jacked up situation, if not worse, because now they don't have the funding and the backing from the show. So that was my take on just that portion of what I heard from Megatron and James. Let me know what you feel about that.
Well, let's jump into that, and then we'll move on to the other sections of Caramel Cutie's position. With regard to that, I don't know if it was myself or Megatron. I do remember the conversation. But that is the point. Like, Robyn came in and she adjusted the rules to suit her. And when it comes down to it, in that type of environment, even based on, and again, this goes back to what Dee was saying, based on the way they were raised, they weren't raised in a way to say that everybody was going to jump in and they were all going to be family and every family was friends, because they've had plenty of people and plenty of examples where people, like, they've even said it, like, Robyn is not an anomaly in that faith. Like, somebody comes in and they take the family over, and then all of a sudden they become the favorite person. They got a lot of the financial decisions, the benefits and things of that nature. That's not an anomaly. That's not something that Robyn just pulled out of her hat and all of a sudden she became something that nobody saw coming. That's something that's kind of built into the system. As far as if they recognize, if could they do it? Probably not, because as I've said before, this is why I think when we focus so heavily on Robyn, I think it's not uh, necessarily appropriate, because even though Robyn has a lot of faults and a lot of responsibility in the downfall of the Brown family, ultimately the full brunt and weight of the Brown family failure lies on Kody's shoulders. Why do I say that? Because there's nothing that Robyn could have done without Kody's express permission. I'll say that one more again. There's nothing Robyn could have inherently done unto herself without Kody's permission and his co-signing. Anything that she decided to do, any changes that she wanted to make, anything she pushed for, she had to push through Kody. Kody pushed and enforced those things that Robyn set as incentives or things that she wanted to achieve. In some cases, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't think Robyn was the first driver. I think it was Kody. I think Kody wanted those things, and he used Robyn as a shield. And in that case, we became, as the audience members, became the fifth sister wife, because we were triangulated to blame Robyn for the things that benefited and that Kody wanted in actuality. And as far as like people making the choices have consequences, whether we like it or not. If they have 6 kids and the choice is they could either put their foot down, and if they didn't work, they could leave, or they could stay and they have to tolerate a bunch of bullshit, that's part of the factoring in of the choice. Like, it's not fair and it sucks, but it's kind of is what it is. When it comes to Vegas, though, when Kody and them decided that they wanted to move to Arizona, Janelle wanted to stay in Vegas. Let's be very clear about this. Janelle was okay with staying in Vegas. In fact, she tried to talk Christine into staying in Vegas. But Christine fell for the bullshit promise from Kody that things were going to be different. Every day is going to be your birthday. If we just move, sell your house, and we move to Arizona, then that's going to be a new start. The same line of bullshit he was giving to Mary about, if you sell your house and give me the money, then when we get to Arizona, everything's going to be great and wonderful. This goes back to, aside from like the upbringing and everything else, this goes back to the experience of, if he's been kicking you in your ass every day for the last 3 years, just because he tells you, if we cross the street, my leg gonna be tied, I ain't gonna be able to kick you in the ass no more. You are a fool if you think things are going to be different, because he said they're going to be different. He been ripping y'all off. He's been neglecting y'all for years. And by years, I mean damn close to 2 decades. At that point, it's almost 3 decades he's been doing this. So when you guys move, you're making choices. Now it's not just a matter of, because they had this show, but they also had very successful MLM businesses. So I think Janelle was also planning on the fact that they had MLM businesses that they were doing. And if they would have stayed, I think Janelle even understood that if they would have stayed, it wouldn't have been the end of the show, because most of the they would have kept most of the family. They had all the damn kids. So it would have, I think they understood that they had more power than they just had to go along with whatever Kody said. So that's kind of where I was with it. But again, like Chris, like if it's a game, Robyn came in and she just played the hell out of the game. You know what I mean? I don't like the game, but if I can't, hate the play, don't hate the play, hate the game. Because she just came in and she did what what I don't want to say what she was supposed to do, but technically in that type of environment where there's competitors and everybody, like, if you we look at it now and we can clearly say the fault of the oh shit. I thought my audio was off for a second. Like, I've been talking this whole time. The fault of them doing it that way is kind of, if Kody would have came, if Rob, they would have all came in and they would have gave all the money and they would have just tried to build the family up and do the right thing, and they just would have did that, and Robyn did the same thing, there's a possibility Kody would have found another wife who would have came in and drained the damn bank account. Like Robyn came into the family and drained the bank account. It was always a threat, and it was always a possibility. And so when you live that kind of lifestyle, it behooves you to make sure that you're paying attention as to what's going on so that you can stay updated as to where you are. I hope that answers the question. But let's go to Caramel Cuties 3.
Cuties again. I may have one more after this. When it comes to Kody ever telling Robyn about his stank, his funk, and her smelling it from across the room, that whole segment made my ass itch. Let me tell you, not literally, but figuratively. Kody is so disgusting. And the fact that this is all that we can throw out there as content that we're supposed to watch, they could have moved on with that one. Production could have copied, chopped, and screwed on the editing floor and left that shit where it was. That was nasty. Gave me the ultimate ick. Ugh. I can only imagine that scent as she walked through the door as I'm visualizing him and his skibbies in, the dirt pond of Coyote Creek in the poop in the water as he's running around in his tighty whities. The picture of disgust. I'm sorry. I don't see how any of them women have ever been attracted to a man that wears them type of drawers with so much loosage in the front and the back. Ugh. Sorry. They could have left that out.
But that was supposed to be the man musk. Like, you like my natural smell, my natural odor, my toilette. I think that it's disturbing to me, not just the fact that he's like, and she came in talking about, this room is messed up. Like, I don't care how hard your ass work. You ain't working that hard. We live in houses with running water. Go sprinkle some water in your ass. Come on back out. Use some of that deodorant. You don't have to, and that's another thing. Like, you selling the house. Don't stink it up before you go. But again, I think that that's the storyline that they're trying to push out of how attracted they are to each other and how lost they are in one another. And it's always, it comes off to me as dishonest that you have to tell me how attracted you are to somebody. Because if you're attracted to him, we could tell you're attracted to him. Just like Kody, Robyn. If you guys are watching tonight, let me just talk directly to you. First, welcome. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let me give you a little hint, though, guys. Kody and Robyn, the same way we knew you guys were attracted to each other season 1, episode 2, when Robyn first came onto the show, we could tell if you were actually attracted to one another, that you couldn't keep your hands off one another. You were so in love. We would be able to tell. The problem that you have is that we can tell that you're not. How about that? You guys are in trouble. We can tell that, Robyn is not feeling you the same way she was feeling your ass before. And it's, I think, partly because you had 3 other wives. She had competition. And, when you have, let's be honest. Let's be honest. The best example, and I hate this example, but it's the best example of something like this, like the social construct of competition and how important it can be. You ever hear the saying, she's a 2 at 10 and a 10 at 2? That speaks to the subject matter of relativity. The relationship of when you first arrive in a club or a bar, you looking around, you have high hopes. You see a young lady, be like, oh, she's a 2. Like, I ain't nowhere in the world I'm talking to that. Hell to the no, right? Because you have plenty of time and opportunity. But bars where I'm at close at 2 o'clock in the morning. So at 2 o'clock, when the bars close and the lights come on, you got decisions to make and you don't want to go home by yourself. All of a sudden, she go from a 2 to a 10. because of the relative time that you have available for you to find an opportunity for you to be able to talk to somebody, meet somebody, and befriend somebody. Right? When it came to the ladies, she was in competition with them. Everybody know that if you wanna, there are people. Yeah, beer goggles on. You're right. You're right. Beer binoculars. But when you go to like the women and men can incentivize and make somebody more attractive than they are, more desirable than they are, just by the excitement that they have when a person comes in. An example of that was Flavor Flav, a guy named Flavor Flav, and it was a show called Flavor of Love. And Flavor Flav, I'm gonna have to download the image because I don't think some of y'all might not know who the hell I'm talking about. And no disrespect to Flavor. All right. But Flavor Flav reached popularity from a rap group called Public Enemy in the 80s, right? And he's I think that he went to Juilliard Music School. He's very talented. He's a very talented guy. But he's probably not the most handsomest person ever. Like, I think that's probably fair to say. He's not Hollywood handsome. I will put it that way. He's not Hollywood handsome. Okay. You know, all guys' children are beautiful, but you know, and that's what it is. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. All right. So I'm gonna upload an image now. And you guys will see what I'm talking about. And then I will address this in a second. Hopefully that works. So I have the image uploaded now. But he ran a show, and this is Flavor Flav. Right now, Flavor was on a show called Flavor of Love. And they had like 20 women who were competing for Flavor Flav. And these are like club women. These are club chicks. These women go to the clubs and to the bars all the time. Good looking women. And they probably get very lucky, have a lot of attention from a lot of very affluent, good looking guys who are trying to get at them and talk to them, and probably are very particular about the guys that they deal with. But you put 20 of them in a house and you tell them that all of them have to go after this one person. And then all of a sudden you had women crying. You had women spitting on each other because they thought they was going to lose the opportunity to date this dude, Flavor Flav. You had women fist fighting over this guy. Right now, before the show started, if Flavor Flav showed up and this dude was working at Getty and a gas station, and he showed up and he tried to talk to one of the women, these women wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. Right. But now they're in a position where there's 20 of them competing with one another to try to get his time and attention so that they can win this show. And nobody wants to get rejected by a dude that they would clearly reject if given an opportunity. So now you have that added bonus. And then all of them think that they're prettier than the other one. And if I lose to this one, then that's going to prove that they're prettier than me. And oh no, that can't be the case. So now they willing to fight, claw, and burn each other up and lie on each other, fist fight the whole nine over this dude that they would never talk to. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about Flavor Flav. It was never about Flavor Flav. It was about the competition that they felt between each other. And I think that when you look at the dynamic of the OG3, that's what we're seeing. It wasn't the fact that Kody was so awesome and so amazing. It was merely the fact that everybody was trying to get his attention. When Robyn comes into the family, oh, you trying to get his attention? You trying to get his attention? I'm going to get all his attention. Oh, I'm going to beat the shit out of y'all. Woo-hoo! I'm going to be the victor. And she jump in. All of a sudden, she played the game so well, she actually won the whole thing. She won the whole kit and caboodle. And then when she finally was given the prize and all the other competitors went home, she realized that, oh shit, what am I going to do with this ass? This trophy is too big to put up on my mantle. I don't want to put it in my closet. Really don't want it in my house. And I think that that's part of the attraction that Robyn was able to garner dealing with Kody. But let's go on with Caramel Cuties. I think this is number 3. Oh no, this is number 4.
Carmel Cuties again. The Quader Ring, Quadergate, Ringgate, whatever you want to call it, from McKelty's Patreon. I know a lot of people are honing in on, Christine not being observant to figure it out that Kody never did buy the ring and that McKelty bought her own ring, and the fact that Robyn lied to her. I'm not even going to harp on her missing it and not speaking to whomever as an adult. I'm looking at the fact of then Mariah, Aspen first, Mariah second, Maddie third would have all gotten a ring well before McKelty. Didn't Kody burn down Mary's ring at the time, supposedly to give to the girls, quote unquote, as a Quader ring? But the only girls who got them at that time would have been Robyn's girls, who of course are younger than McKelty. And the fact that Robyn would flat out lie to Christine and say, yeah, Kody got her the ring, she's more diabolical than I ever thought before. Because that is some fucked up shit. Sorry for the language, but that's crazy.
Yeah, the whole thing with the ring is nuts. But the thing is that I'm not sure how Robyn came to tell Christine. Maybe that was her understanding. She just assumed Kody bought it for her. That could have been an assumption on Robyn's part. And I'm sure, and here's the crazy part, and I'm actually going to do a video on this. I plan to. This is one of the places where Robyn and Kody excel, because the implication is there, but they always have a trap door to release them from the lie that they told. See, Robyn is going to use the excuse that this was my understanding. When I saw McKelty with the ring, I assumed that Kody bought her the ring. I had no idea that she bought that ring herself. Because why would you buy a ring for yourself? It was my understanding Kody was buying everybody a ring. And as Caramel Cuties pointed out, Kody melted a whole damn ring. Mary's wedding band that he had from Mary, he melted it down to make collada rings for Robyn's 2 daughters. So why would I think that he would give my daughter something when McKelty's older and she should have been had her ring? He was saying that she was having some difficulties, but when I saw her with the ring, I just assumed Kody gave it to her. That's what Robyn's going to say. I bet you money. If you nail her down, that's what she's going to say. Because, again, like, when push it out and shove, Robyn's good at this. Like, I don't even think it's so much she's good at it as much as she knows how to play the game, because she'll nail it down to, it was my assumption. I wasn't there. I wasn't a part of it. I just saw her with the ring, and there's a way for her to get out of it, even though she's probably a part of it. But here's Caramel Cuties' last message.
Okay. This is definitely probably going to be my last one. I got cut off, but to add to what I just said, the fact that Robyn, again, took from children, took from the family as a whole, not once coming in as a new mom, a new sister, wife, stepmom to these kids, or an additional mom to these kids, to advocate for McKelty, who was also your first fucking nanny while in the family. You used and abused that damn child, maybe not physically, but definitely emotionally, to get whatever information you could to throw Christine under the bus and have Kody treating all her kids like shit for the benefit of your brand. Pardon me, kids are innocent, but I'm a little ticked off now the more that I think about this. How the hell would you lie and try to throw Kody like, oh, he's just the best dad ever because he bought McKelty her Quader ring to Christine when you piece of shit never did it? And the fact that you knew he took Mary's ring to give to your girl and left McKelty out purposely, that bitch need an ass whoop. I'm sorry. Pardon the French, you guys. The language is bad, I know. My apologies. But that
Not that we condone violence here on My Take on Reality. But Robyn, you better watch your back because Karma Cutie coming for you. No, I'm just joking. It's all in jest. It's all for fun. She's not saying she's coming to whip your ass, Robyn. Don't be scared. But the whole thing is that again, I think Robyn has a huge backdoor that she can use. The problem is that did she know? And that's always going to be the question. Did Robyn know? Did she not know? But then the other question that oftentimes is asked in a concert with that first question of did she know is should she have known? Should she have known? And if she did know, would she have done anything differently or would she have done anything about it? Because Robyn, as we've expressed, Robyn was able to convince the family to do a lot of shit that Kody didn't want her, that the family didn't want to do, but Robyn wanted it to do, and she was able to coerce Robyn into doing it. So if it was like that and Robyn did know, why did she use her powers for good? She could have used her powers for good, but she chose not to. And I think that makes it a lot more dastardly. From that respect, because she could have said, Kody, this is crazy. I appreciate you getting Brianna and Aurora rings. They love it. They got their little bling all over the place. But think about the damage that it's doing to not only McKelty, but to Christine. And this is where it gets funny to me when he's sitting there talking to his brother. Surprise, surprise. Where my girl at? Where my girl at? Gotta call her back up. Hold on, y'all. Gotta call my girl back up. Cody's sitting there looking all crazy. And he's like, I can't believe they left. It's not right. They left. I'm playing her to death tonight, but that's my girl. Well, I can't believe they left. Why would they leave? This is why they left. It's not because of you being sexy or manly man. It's because you treated them like shit. That's why they left. You treated them like shit. That's why they left. Okay? It's not like you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. It's not a puzzle. You don't have to be Sherlock Holmes and look at somebody's shoes and be like, you used to be a construction worker 5 years ago before you knocked down the third tree to the left. And that's why you walk with the little hitch in your giddy up. And therefore your wife decided to leave you because you wasn't swinging them logs right. Because even though you was knocking down trees and you call yourself a lumberjack, apparently you don't know how to cut the wood. You don't know how to bring the wood. So that's not why they left. They left because of shit like this. You mistreating their kids. That's why they left. You get them arguing and covering up for one another. That's why they left. They're in competition. They're looking over, and Christine is seeing that her daughter doesn't have a dang on ring. But Robyn's kids who are younger than her are walking around with a ring, and they aren't even full members of the Brown family yet, and they have rings. And here your daughter is asking you and begging you for a ring because she wants to feel a part of, and it's no, you're doing the wrong thing. No, you're not acting right. No, you can't have a ring yet. But Robyn's kids, well, I want you to feel like you're a part of the family. What about the person who was born into the family? Should they feel like they're a part of the family too? Indispensable? That's why they left, dude. Hello. When Kody was saying that shit, talking to his brother, man, I was looking at it, I was like,
hold up, wait a minute.
I can't believe you saying this. I can't believe you. Hold up, wait a minute. I don't understand why they left. He's still singing that same damn song. And I'm tired of singing it. I wasn't dancing to that tight ass beat back when he was singing it in season 18. And now that we hit 2 seasons later, I have no interest in hearing about how you suffered because these women decided to get their self-esteem up, pick their feet up, and walk out the damn door. There's nothing wrong with that. Sorry, bro. Not feeling sorry for you. But we have another person just listening to Caramel Cuties, one of the mega mods in the house. What? Excellent points. Now we have Candace.
Hey, James, it's Candace.
I was just watching this past episode, and I've been thinking this for quite a while, that Robyn, she is over Kody and his craziness. And I don't think she's into him at all. She just seems, I don't know. And Kody, like, is talking about, oh, they're not, whatever, they're battle buddies. They're not, whatever, doing their thing anymore. And personally, I don't really care, but I don't like Robyn at all. And I don't care what happens to her. She gets what she gets. She got the man that, whatever. But now she has to deal with him 24/7. And it must be so draining. I mean, he must be exhausting to deal with. So she's in it for the money as long as she can. But I would be so disgusted by him. I think she has that awareness that he's an insane man. And anyway, I'm just kind of wondering what your thoughts are on that. And she's going to leave his ass. There's no doubt about it. As soon as that runs dry, but I don't believe she's going into the AUB. Nobody will. She's not going to share her money. Anyway.
All right, let's roll right now. It's episode 2 of Candace.
Hey, James, Candace again. I just wanted to finish up my thought on my previous speak pipe. I know there's speculation and notes, 444, notes to self, whatever 444, believes that Robyn will just get, reintegrated back into the AUB, and that, some man will want her wealth or whatever. They'll want her money. And first of all, what man's going to take her and her family? And I don't really believe Robyn's going to share her wealth. She's not one to want to give her money, and she's not going to share that money with some other family and a bunch of his wives and their families. So that it's never made sense to me. And some people believe that, she's going to go for the profit or whatever, but they're not going to have this kind of money and the lifestyle that she's used to. So anyway, I think she's done with Kody. I don't know what her next grift is going to be, but she'll have some kind of grift because this woman will never work. She doesn't know the first thing about working. And Kody, God only knows what's going to happen to this guy. It's going to be a very sad ending for him, sad life for him. So, all right. Bye.
All right. Well, here's the thing. I would be very surprised. I think for normal people, it might be surprising if somebody wanted Robyn or they made those sacrifices to be with her. But for some of these people, Robyn's been on TV. She might go back. There's 2 counterpoints of Robyn going back. If Kody loses his money, that's the only thing keeping Robyn's ass from around, because she is not trying to move back into a trailer with his ass. Let's be honest. He has a TV show and he's begging her for monogamy. Okay, can I please not cheat on you? Please, can I not cheat on you? I just want to be with you, baby. Please. He begging now. And he has a TV show and a paycheck of over 6 figures, right? And he's begging to be with her now. You lose your good job. Oh, it's over for you. Oh, bro, it's over for you. Your relationship dead as fried chicken, brother. If you think you have no chance, okay? If you think she's gonna be around, bro, you are insane. You crazy as cat shit. If you think she's gonna be around when that money is gone, you stop getting them nice checks. And she have a problem. She have a problem with you rich. She damn sure gonna have a problem with you poor. So I want to be very clear about that. But when it comes to the whole thing, for richer or poor, Robyn just stood there quiet. Do you solemnly swear to love him for richer or poor? Richer, yes. Poor, no. That's our covenant. But when it comes back to her going to the AUB, Notes to Self and Corey and Melanie, they have more of a, like, clearly they have more insight into that group and the inner workings of that group and whether it'll be taken. From an outside perspective and what I've heard about that group, there's a couple things that go in Robyn's favor. Not so much that she's on TV, but she has access to assets, right? They have like, what, 15 years of assets and tithes they haven't paid from the Brown family. They bring it back into the church. So yeah, they more than willing to take that, right? Because again, it's not about necessarily the upliftment of an individual as much as it is the growth, development, and uplifting of the organization, and thereby the one person in charge of the organization, the leadership in that organization. That's what it's about. So will they bring her back into the church if she's willing to come? Hell yeah, especially if she's bringing that fat ass paycheck with her, right? No issues with that. That goes in her favor. It also goes in her favor, let's be honest, and this is kind of disgusting, so pardon it, pardon this observation, but I want to be very clear. Robyn coming back into the family, there's a strong possibility Robyn's also bringing two of her daughters into the AUB fold as well. So it's not just, Robyn isn't just bartering on her womb, she's also bartering on the womb of her two children, her three children actually, because Ariella, Aurora, and Brianna, bringing those women back in. One thing they always love is the women. They want women coming back. So there's an opportunity there. As far as Robyn's concerned, her con list, and this, again, this is just very short because I realize I don't want to go all night, but just talking about Robyn. But the con list, things that work against Robyn, I don't see Robyn coming in and just marrying average Joe everybody. So she's not looking, she I don't see Robyn leaving Kody to go and join the AUB so she could just be the wife of a regular old guy. She's going to want somebody who has position and power within the AUB so that way it would be attractive to her to want to join that person's family. So she's not looking to downgrade. She's always going to be looking to upgrade. When she first went, from my understanding, when she first went after Dayton's dad, that was an upgrade from where she was, because he was a guy who was supposed to be starting his own construction business. Ruined that for him because, she pilfered those company finances allegedly. And then there was an opportunity, once she got divorced, there was an opportunity for this other family who was going to be on a TV show, and they were going to have fame and fortune and money and possibly meet a lot of people and take the country by storm. And she wanted to jump into that family. So she seduced the patriarch of that household, allegedly, which is Kody Brown. So she took another step up. So she's going up the ladder as she's going with every marriage. So I don't see her going up the ladder so she can jump on the slide and come all the way back down, shoots and ladder style, since we talking about playing the game. She's not playing shoots and ladders. She ain't trying to climb the ladder and just so she can slide all the way back down to back where she started. So she's going to want to date somebody of prominence within the AUB, somebody important. And then, I think Melanie had mentioned that her sister is married to one of the bishops or something. So if she comes into the AUB, she's going to at least want to marry somebody equal to, if not greater than, her sister. Let me say that one more again. She will want to marry somebody equal to, if not greater than, her sister. So if she comes, so her dating pool will be limited. As far as like people looking at her, how much money will she actually get from Kody? How much money? Because after that, it's not just when you get divorced, it's not like, oh, we have a $2 million house and they just give me $1 million and they slide Kody $1 million. No, you have to settle the debts first. You have to settle the debts. And if you can't outright settle the debts, you have to assign those debts to somebody. That liability has to lay with somebody. Somebody still owe the money. So from all the home equity loans, all the borrowing of loans, the credit card debt, all that has to be divided. So there's a possibility that they could own have like $5 million worth of assets, but only have about $50,000 worth of liquid cash. In which case, instead of her walking away with $2.5 million from her divorce settlement, she walks away with maybe $25,000. In which case, the next person who's looking at her will say, is she worth it bringing her into the family with only $25,000 worth of resources and mouths to feed? And that becomes like a whole thing too. Like one of the things, if Kody tries to come back to the church, well, I'm going to do a whole thing about monogamy. So that'll be played into it too. But yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of complications. I respect what Mel and them say. That, like I said, they have a better insight as to what's going on. But I don't think it's going to be as smooth as just, I'm divorcing Kody. Girl, come on down this way because I want some of that Robins. I want some of them Robyn legs. I don't. I mean, then again, at the same time, they are playing it perfectly. Like Robyn is playing perfect. The quiet, submissive, pretty wife. That's music to a lot of the right guys. That's music to their ears. So there's that too. So I don't know. But let's go to thank you, Candace. Now we're gonna go to Tanya Kata.
When we talk about Robyn putting up the sign in her house that she didn't want the kids to go in her fridge, that they need to ask her or Mindy first. At that time, Robyn was still establishing herself and her children with Kody. I don't think that she would have just put that sign up. I know we want to believe that she's some crazy bitch that would do that. In the future, yes, she would once she had her footing. But at that point, I don't think Robyn would have just put that sign up and Kody come in and see it with the risk of Kody coming in and seeing it and not being happy with that. I think she complained to Kody that, I don't have my kids going over there and eating all of their food and everything, but they're always coming over here and taking my kids' food, and that's just not fair. And I don't know how to tell them without offending their mothers. And I don't, we're new and I don't want my kids to get bullied or for them to not like me. Kody, what do I do? And Kody, being the punk ass that he is, instead of just talking to his kids or talking to their mothers and saying, hey guys, this is how we need to respect each other's houses, he probably told her, why don't you just put a note on the door, on the fridge, that you don't want them eating the food? That way he doesn't look like the bad guy. She looks like the bad guy. But he also told her to do that, so their relationship is fine. I think that's what happened with that note. I think Kody told her to do it because he's a punk ass and didn't want to say anything. And then it just solves the problem. The kids aren't eating there. And Robyn can look however, and he doesn't look like the bad guy. And him.
Oh man. I think that's an excellent point. I think she picks it back up in part 2. Hold on a second.
That's all I had to say about the note on the door.
Okay. Before we continue with part 2, I want to respond to that. That is a damn excellent point. That's an excellent point. Tanya look, that's why I do this speak pipe, because you guys have to look. That's an excellent point. Because we've given Robyn a lot of shit about that sign on the door, the refrigerator door. But like Tanya said, that actually makes more sense because Kody was coming over. Kody was at Robyn's house all the damn time. And you telling me Kody breezing through her house, looking at the door like, oh, okay, I guess that's just what she doing. That's how we doing shit now. Right? Kody would have had to co-sign it. So he knew about it for sure. But it makes complete sense to me that is something that, like, Robyn going to Kody, because at the time that note was spotted on the refrigerator door, her relationship wasn't as solid as it is now. Like Robyn now, yeah, she'll come out of pocket and do some wild shit on her own. And Kody he'll hear about it after she did it. But back then, when she first put that note on the door, it would make sense because she wasn't quite as established. I don't think at the time she even had any kids with Kody yet. So her position in the family was tenuous at best. So she would have ran that by Kody, especially since she always took the position that Kody was the leader and he was the one who was making all the decisions and she was being submissive to him. That is a major decision for you just to write on the door. Yeah, F your kids. If they come here, they better ask me or ask the nanny, Mindy, my sister, if they can have any food up out of my house, because I ain't trying to feed anybody, especially being as though the family just got finished putting a roof over her head, food on her plate, and taking care of her and her kids. So it would have been very difficult for her to just, out of the blue, just put up a sign saying, don't take no damn food out of here, when the family is actually paying for the food going in the house. So I think that that's an excellent point. Like, oh shit. Tanya done cracked the code up in this joint. Kody very well, not only, and it makes total sense that she would have went to Kody like, oh, they eating all the Fruit Loops up in there. My kids love Fruit Loops. They can't even get no Fruit Loops breakfast. And then Kody sitting there saying, well, what you want me to do about it? She's like, I don't know. Say something to the wives about it. Tell your kids. He said, just put something on the refrigerator so that way when they know not to eat out of the refrigerator without no asking you first. And then she said there and said, okay, well, I mean, I guess, because Kody's trying to be non-confrontational, because at the end of the day, this goes back to what I've been saying from the beginning. So much of what we've been watching and so much of the shit that Robyn gets blamed for, not saying that she's innocent at all, but so much of what she gets blamed for is actually pushed for and inspired and driven by Kody, and he just steps aside and lets her take the blame. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. So much of this, I think, is done by him. He's still like, oh man, guys, I have so much content I want to put out, because we got to get into this shit. I'm telling you, because so much of this, because I've always said from day one that we blame Robyn for so much, but at the end of the day, Robyn's power, it lives and inspires and only goes through Kody. She doesn't have power unto herself. I don't care how magical the boombox is. I don't care. Okay? She can make that on beatbox and shit. Look, I don't give a shit. When push them down and shove, she couldn't do anything in her family. If she walked into a room with the OG3 and said, y'all gonna do this because I told you to do it, and if it don't get done, y'all gonna get dealt with. Like, I'm telling you right now, them 3 women would have looked at it and said, all right, then, pull their chairs out. We might as well move this table to the side so we can get down right here. Like, you know what I mean? But when she's standing there and got Kody behind her back, and Kody's like, look, if you guys don't treat her good, then I ain't never coming over y'all out no more. I ain't never gonna see your kids because y'all don't treat her with respect and love. Then all of a sudden, they got to listen to her. Then all of a sudden, they got to tolerate her. They got to put up with her. Janelle even said, like, I don't have nothing in common with this chick. Why would I call her and talk to her? I ain't got nothing in common with her. I don't like her. Why would I deal with her? I'm older than her. Our responsibilities in the places where our mindsets are in 2 different places. I don't like her. Why would I deal with her? Why would I give her that respect? Why would I bow down to her? When Kody was telling her that Janelle need to respect Robyn. Think about that shit, y'all. Whoa, told Tanya, woo, you on to something. Tanya on to something.
Now the other thought I have was about Peyton. I think Peyton has always tried to find validation with his father. And as much as he doesn't want to be like his father, like Kody, he's always trying to find validation. And where that comes from, I feel, is Kody the boys were always his favorite. Janelle's boys were always his favorite, not Peyton. Peyton was not a part of those boys that he favored. He never went to Christine. He didn't like any of Christine's children, including Peyton. So even though that was her only boy over there, he wasn't in the favorite boys club. So he would go and hang out at Janelle's all the time, but I don't think that he got the attention that Janelle's boys did. And he always got looked over, even in Janelle's house with his father. I think that he found his validation later in life through Garrison. Whenever he joined the military with Garrison, that made him a part of that boys' club. And Garrison gave him the validation that he had always looked for in his father. So when Garrison passed, his validation died that day too. And that's what I think is going on with Peyton now. He's just lost. So now he's going back over to Janelle because that's where he always felt, that's Garrison's mother. That's where he has always found some sort of validation. And that's what I think is going on with him. It's sad.
Yeah, Peyton's story actually was very touching. I think that he did a good job. I know he catches a lot of shit on the show. So when I get my opportunity to say, good job, Peyton, good job, Peyton. When it comes down to it, I do think that Tanya is again right on point. Because again, this is something I've said. I think that when they talk about, because Janelle was always the first one. Kody was so good with the kids when they were little. They might have been good with Janelle's kids. Because again, Janelle was sitting on top of two studs, right? You had Logan, then you had Hunter right behind Logan, right? Football players, wrestlers. Logan, I think he was a pretty good wrestler and a decent football player. Hunter was a decent football player, excellent wrestler, wound up winning state championships, right? Kody there playing a proud papa. So yeah, that going to the wrestling matches and all that, that's something I'm sure he was excited about. Peyton was, no disrespect to Peyton, because I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. It's hard being tall. Like, people look at it, oh, it must be so nice being tall. There's a point where you're just not sure of your body because you're growing so fast. I took a lot of things to try to control myself. So I was a lot more graceful than a lot of guys who are my height. Just because when I was young, I might as well tell you guys, well, you talk too much, Jay. you feel too much, but I can't help myself, y'all. We family, we all family here. Story time. When I was a kid, in addition to my dad putting me in martial arts when I was early in grade school, I also attended a drama school. We learned acting, dance, all kinds of stuff, right? And I remember doing the dance class. I was using some of them dance moves even in college. Boy, tearing them floors up. Boy, you don't even know. Cut a rug. Linda called me the carpenter. I was the rug layer back in them days. I was cutting rugs, Jack. But cut me a little rug. But that helped me to adjust and grow with my body, be comfortable with my body. But it can be difficult because, like I said, I knew guys playing basketball and all that stuff, football players who grew up gangly, what they used to call gangly, where your body is just shooting up so fast and you never really catch hold of like how to control yourself. So you just kind of doofy looking, you're just a big doofy guy. And that's kind of what when I saw Peyton, as I watched Peyton grow up, it kind of put me in mind of those kind of kids who just, no fault of his own. He just never really got control of his body until he was older. And then you have like the breakout years, usually in high school, where you just all of a sudden you start filling out. and, and all the little girls, well, I went to all boys school, but the little girls in your class were like, oh, oh, wow. Oh, look, shoulders. Whoa, okay. But because that might have been the case with Peyton, if he wasn't like a supreme athlete in school, it just could have been because it's not because he grew up in a house with girls, just because he grew up big, and he never really learned to control himself. And that's just not control himself, having like full aesthetic control. But that when Kody sees that, it turns him off because he wants boys who are, out the box, ready to go. Guys, kids that when he goes to the football, if I'm gonna take the afternoon off and go down and watch the football game after school, I want to be standing there talking about that's my son, tackling everybody. Look at my kid running it back for the touchdown. Look at my boy just hit a home run. Not Kody sitting there saying, "Oh, who's your son? Yeah, you see the big kid on the bench? Yeah, that's mine right there." Has he ever played? No, not all season. So I mean, I think that he's dealing with that, and it's hard. It must have been hard for the girls because, and I don't know what's worse. And I'm being genuine about this. I don't know what's worse for Christine's daughters who know that Kody's over at Janelle's house, fawning over the boys and imagining what it's like to be there and seeing that, or being paid and watching him fawn over everybody but you. And like McKelty, you stand there and you're trying to get the residual light that he's shining on these other kids, anything that he has left over, you're trying to catch that. Like that's where he might have been. And then as Tanya talked about, when you experience so much rejection only to be the person who is kind of your comrade in arms, which is Garrison, because after a while, Kody wasn't as interested in Garrison or Gabe as he was in Logan and Hunter. Right? So to love and loss. They knew what it was like. They saw it with their older brothers. They experienced a little bit of it because maybe he thought they had promised, but when they didn't start to show that bear the same fruits that these two brothers bore for him, all of a sudden, and he had Robyn, all his focus was elsewhere, then they lost it. Or you have Peyton, who was watching it but couldn't participate in it. Or you had Christine's other daughters who were sitting there and they could only imagine what was going on. So everybody has like a jacked up situation. And to be honest with you, I don't know whose situation is worse. But I think Tanya had one more. Let's listen to Tanya.
Okay, so I saw the Patreon with McKelty where she was talking about her clotter ring. And she bought it for herself because her dad, every time she asked him about it, he kept telling her, no, you're not doing the right thing. I'm not getting it for you. Like basically just withholding the thing that she wanted to show that he loved her because all of his other daughters got one, being Kody. So she went and bought it herself. She even said that she thinks she took her mom's credit card to buy it. And Christine kind of laughed. Christine was shocked because Christine said, this whole time, I thought your dad bought you that. Because, and McKelty was like, why did you think dad bought it for me? And she said, because Robyn told me the clotter ring that McKelty is wearing, Kody bought it for her. This just tells you the diabolical level of manipulation and conquer and divide that Robyn was playing up in there. I think she buddied up to McKelty, to get info on what was going on inside of Christine's home so she could use it against Christine with Kody. I think that she was dividing Christine from her children, basically by letting Christine think that Kody bought the ring. She's never going to question where did McKelty get the ring from, and then McKelty in turn is going to think that her mom doesn't care that her dad didn't buy her the ring because she never went and asked, why didn't you buy McKelty a ring? Why aren't you getting McKelty a ring? So in McKelty's eyes, it just looks like her mom didn't give a shit that she didn't have a ring either.
Oh man, she cut off. But Tanya's on to something again. And here's the thing. Like I agree with a lot of what Tanya was saying because it is very damaging because it creates all kinds of crazy ripples. Again, you wonder why everybody leaving you. I don't know. Why's everybody leaving me? I don't get it. But it's like they don't want to be here no more. Like I'm doing something wrong.
Emotional damage.
But here's the thing. I said earlier, I mean, it is crazy that Robyn would just come out. Oh, Kody bought her that ring. Isn't it awesome? Kody got that for her. Here's the problem I have with that, which is crazy diabolical. If she's covering for Kody that way, she knew full well that Kody didn't buy her the ring. That shit would be crazy diabolical. And McKelty bought the ring for herself, and she was somehow just trying to preemptively cover for Kody. That would be crazy. Loyal as hell. And again, for the AUB guys, they'd be like, oh man, that's what I need on my team. Somebody going to just, take it upon their self and cover for me. That's like, that's like showing a little leg, for some of these dudes. They love that shit. But show a little leg, take it away. Show a little shoulder, take it away. Right. But but when it comes down to it, here's the thing. First thing, if I ever, and my mom passed, but if I ever was sitting somewhere and I told my mother that, yeah, you remember where that piece of jewelry I had? Yeah, I stole your credit card and bought that piece of jewelry. There would be no laughter. There will be no laughter from here and hereafter. Like nobody, look, this shit be like a Rakim song, boy. Nobody's smiling. Okay? Nobody's smiling. Nobody is happy after that. Ha ha ha. Yeah, remember that ring I had? Yep. I stole your credit card and bought myself a ring, son. That shit will go left quick. Okay. it would go left quick. Yeah, nope, nope. There's no way in the world I'd have to take that to them. I'd take that shit to my grave. That would be something I would have to. They'd be throwing dirt on my ass. I wouldn't even say that in a room by myself out loud. Never would I say that I stole my mother's credit card and use it. I'd be afraid she'd pop up on my ass. I didn't realize you came in. How did you get in here? Don't worry about that, son. You finna get dealt with. Like, no, nope, 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 nope. So that was crazy. And for Christina to laugh it off, that, you know, that's weird to me. Because that's not a joke. And I don't care if it was like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I got my own house with my own kids. That's not something I would tell my mom and she'll be okay with hearing. Like that shit would have no time limit. And I'm very adamant about it. That has zero time. Like that, there's no statute of limitations on that. I stole your credit card. Hell to the no. You talking about a chair across the back. Oh, this be WWF, baby. Off the top rope. Get the rock because nobody can stop her. Somebody needs to call the rock. Because she on top of his ass. But the fact that the thing that kind of got me too is just, I feel bad because it always seems like now I'm like super negative to like the OG3 or whatever. But I gotta say it, y'all. I gotta be honest. When I was coming up, story time, when I was coming up, we couldn't bring shit in the house that my parents ain't know nothing about. Like you couldn't go out and then come home with something and they didn't know where you got it from. Or you didn't have an explanation and or a receipt as to where, like, shit would have to make sense when you came in. Like I couldn't just show up to my house with a chain and just walk in. Where you get that from? Joe lent it to me. Well, you need to take that shit back to Joe. As a kid, we couldn't even borrow stuff. My parents would not let us borrow stuff. Like, you know, we out playing ball or something or riding somebody's bike. You couldn't borrow somebody's bike and bring it back to the house. You got to give them their shit back. I can't take this home. Because the only stuff that came in our house was stuff that she either bought or stuff that we had. If you couldn't explain where it came from, it didn't come in the house. She did not play that shit. Like, she did not play that. You know, so that was weird to me. And my mom definitely, because I came from the type of household, and I have the type of household where I'm definitely going to ask you where you got the shit from. So this wouldn't have been a conversation that I would have had or even imagine that my mom would have had with some third party about something I had brought into the house. You understand what I mean? Like, it's just, it's a little weird to me that you just limited to Robyn, asking Robyn or asking, getting Robyn's word for it. And even if Robyn told you, what kind of strikes me a little bit is that this isn't a problem. If Kody had been holding this back from Mykelti for years, and this is where I'm kind of having a little bit of a problem. He had told Mykelti, gave Aspen one, gave Leon one, gave Maddie one. When it was Mykelti's time to get one, no, you can't get one. Mykelti's there crying and boo-hooing, and she's probably coming to Christine complaining that it's not fair. Dad's not giving me a ring, and all the other ones have it. And then if Tanya's right, he gave rings to Brianna and Aurora, Robyn's kids, and didn't give one to Mykelti. And Mykelti would have went back and told her mom, it's not fair. I'm watching all the young girls getting them, and you know how girls are or kids are. Like, yeah, my baby sister Truly's probably going to have one before I get one. It's not fair. And they doing that whole conversation. And then when she finally gets one, Christine doesn't go back and ask Kody, or not even so much ask him. Oh, I see you finally bought Mykelti a ring. It's really nice. I love that for her. She's so excited of it. She's so proud of it. You did such a good thing, Kody, buying her that ring. And you guys don't have that conversation. And my question is, if they did have that conversation, what did Kody say? Did Kody say, yeah, I bought her the ring? And in which case, if Kody did say I bought her the ring, wouldn't that be in line with what Robyn said? Maybe he told Robyn that he bought the ring. And what bothers me about the whole situation is, and I hate to say this part about it, there's a story time. Back in the day, they used to have a thing called forfeiture laws. Like if you were, for instance, quote, with illegal substances, police could implement the forfeiture procedures to take property or money, cash, real property, or even cars, automobiles. You have some stuff in the car, they find it, they could take the car, and then it would be on you as the defendant it would be your burden to establish that that property was obtained legally, right? If not, your property was forfeit, and the municipality or government could use said property, cash, or whatever, however they deem fit. So they could use it for like the DARE programs. They could use it for, like, a lot of those cars from DARE were actually seized vehicles under forfeiture. They would get like BMWs, Porsches, or big trucks or whatever, and they would paint them with the DARE colors. That's how they used to do it where I was from. And put the DARE letters on it, a police bar, put a little police package on it, and they would drive them to the schools. You know, say no, just say no, right? And one of the things is that under that precept, because I remember a few cases where they were actually taking people's houses, and it was the parents' house, but the kids were the ones who were distributing or had possession of the substances in the house. And the parents always said, I had no idea. And the burden of proof wasn't whether you knew. The burden of proof was, should you have known? And in that, using that line of logic, my question is this something Christine should have known? And if she did know, was she playing dumb? Did she know McKelty went and bought that ring? Stole her credit card. That's why she was sitting there giggling about it, because she knew McKelty stole that ring. And did she know that Kody was holding out, not getting her the ring, and she had to go out and buy her own? And instead of creating a problem and going back and confronting Kody, she just went along with the lie. Because again, I'm just trying to be objective, because we're so quick to blame Robyn and Robyn. But I'm just asking. Because I mean, I don't know how that house, I don't know how their house ran. I don't know. I don't know. And there's so many kids. I mean, maybe it's hard for them to keep up with what's going on, but that many kids, my mom's rules definitely would have took effect, because you don't bring nothing into the house, especially later on, like I said, with forfeiture and everything else. You know, there was an old set, not even old, it's just, it is what it is. The law receiving stolen property. That's why she was big on, like, you're not bringing nothing in the damn house that we can't track. I'm borrowing it from a friend. That shit, because receiving stolen property. Ain't nobody in here going to jail. Because your friend done stole some shit. They get you to hold it. You bring it in the house. Next thing you know, the cops knocking on the door because the police done stopped the kid who actually stole the shit up around the corner. And he say he saw James with it. He come to James' house. Search warrant. Where's the item that so-and-so said you had it? Oh yeah, I borrowed it from it. And here I go hand them the stolen shit. Next thing you know, I'm getting the magic bracelets and I get a free ride to the police station, 3 hots and a cot down at the damn county. No, thank you. You don't bring shit in this house unless I know where it came from. Right? So, like I said, I guess they just grew up different. They grew up not thinking about like repercussions and what could happen, if people are unsavory. But your daughter, like, out there committing credit card frauds. I don't know. Like, admittedly so, committing credit card theft. So I guess you don't have to worry about the outside forces when they in the house. So I don't know. But that's just the thing. Like, I don't know. And in the shame of it, and I say all that to say too, what you could have known, what you should have known, and maybe she did know, because there is a certain level of shame and inadequacy as a parent that you would feel, because you don't have the power to say to Kody, "You son of a bitch, you gave everybody else a ring. What about my daughter? You make sure you take care of her. I don't care what she's doing. You got to make her feel like she's part of the family." The last thing you do to children, and I stand on this, I 100% believe this. If you have a child and they're doing the wrong thing, you don't label that child as that thing. They're just kids who are making bad choices. They aren't that thing. But when you say, "Oh, you're a thief, you're a liar, you are a person who lied. You made a mistake, but you can come back from it." But when you label them as that thing, and you treat them like they are that thing, guess what happens? They become that thing. It's incredible that these kids then turn into like psychopathic killers or criminals. You understand what I mean? It's incredible. They ought to do a case study on that, because of the fact that, like, if he's leading them out and saying, "I'm punishing you, I'm punishing you, I'm punishing you because you're this thing, and you keep doing this thing, and you keep making these mistakes, and now I'm gonna punish you and punish you and punish you." How is that helping after a while? Because you gonna wait till she start believing it? Like, I don't know. So, like I said, I said I had a little bit of a different thought, but let me know what you guys think in the chat. Let's check some of the super chats before we go to the last 4 messages. We just got 4 left, guys. Thank you for being patient. We had from Raiders Ma in the house. She said, Kody likes to hunt. Janelle didn't need or chased him. Robyn doesn't like him. He didn't know Mary existed till Catfish, and didn't know Christine was alive till she packed. Yep, because at the end of the day, it's all about Kody. Kody's magic. But thank you so much for that contribution. Let me get my thing. Then we had Kathy Mosley in the house, 962, $5 super chat. The knot on the fridge was Robyn covering for the EBT food stamps, protected against fraud with the government. It could have been. It could have been. And at the same time, I mean, there was a lot of kids. So, I mean, I don't want to be an asshole, but, if the kids are coming in, they going buck wild and they cleaning your refrigerator out, because kids can be like locusts. They come in and wipe your ass out. Like, especially if they're not, they're not your kids. And kids can be very, very, very expensive, especially if you have a kid or a child who has a lot of friends and they come over to the house, especially them damn boys. They'll come over. Every time I come downstairs, you in the refrigerator. Why are you in the refrigerator? You don't even live here. Why don't you take a picture of what's in the refrigerator, so that way you're not just eating up our food, but you stand out here wasting my electricity. They eat you out. They literally will eat you out of house and home. So you might have to put some restrictions on some things, and it sounds crazy, but at the same time, if you're going to say, like, you should at least, if kids are coming over to your house and the kids are going to get hungry, they're going to want to eat, what you do is you set some snacks aside. Like, that's usually what I do. Like, I'll go out and buy snacks and things like that the kid, like, I don't care. You kids can eat that stuff. Like, if I come downstairs and I have some steak or something in the refrigerator, I don't want to come down there and you motherfuckers, I'm part of my friend, but I come down there and y'all just frying up steaks for your buddies. Like, your friend standing at my, standing at my grill with my steak on the day. Hold up now. You ain't paying no bills over here. You ain't come over here to eat unless you invited. Like, come on, man. I got pretzels, chips, Doritos, Chewies. I got everything in there for you. Cookies, cakes, whatever you want. But don't mess with a man's steak. You know what I mean? Eat your stuff up. Like, And I'm sure they were kids, and they were little kids at the time. So it's not like they were eating the food. They might have been eating snacks. They might have been eating like cereal and stuff like that, but they weren't eating food, you know. So, but if it's like that and you know that you have kids coming over, like who doesn't like make a, you know, if you're up north, you make a pitcher of juice. But if you down south, who don't make a jug of juice? You got a jug. You put your jug in there. You know you got kids coming over. You always have like a jug or something so they can get something to drink when you have people guests come over. You know, but I don't know. But yeah, she, you know, if you on the EBT, you don't have a lot of cash. That might be more reason why you be like, guys, slow down now. Because I only get that, you know, I don't know how often they get the reimbursement or whatever. I think it's once a month. You know, I might be running low this month. I think it's once a month. Once or twice. Once. But I think I want to say once, but I guess depending on the state. But yeah. Thank you so much, Kathy. Excellent point. How crazy would it have been if they would have reached up there and slammed the damn refrigerator door and the damn note would have came off and you'd have saw the EBT. Ooh, they would have been, ooh. Kody would have been pulling his hair out, running off screen. Oh! They know we're poor. My greatest fear is poverty. No, your greatest fear is people thinking you have poverty. That's your greatest fear. Because you're making money moves. Like if you have money and you know you have money, I'm good. Look, I've always said this. If tomorrow I hit like the Mega Millions, is like I think it's like $600-700 million or something like that, a $300 million Powerball, $400 million Powerball, whatever it is. If I hit that shit tomorrow, I would sincerely try not to change too much of my life and lifestyle. I mean, I'd have to keep myself and my family safe because at that point, that's straight up kidnap money. Like your family turned up missing. You look around, people find out. But like I would want to live a regular life. I won't be. It would be enough. Just saying, it would be enough for me to know that I have the money. Like my bills are taken care of. I pay my bills. My bills is paid. Like old girl from 600 Pound Life or the twins or whatever. I pay my bills. My bills is paid. You know what I mean? That would be good enough for me. And I could care less. You know, my car is decent. I probably wouldn't even go out and buy a new car. You know, I like my house. I'll probably stay here if I could. You know, but it'd be enough for me to know that I have the money. And I'd have money to pass down to my kids and their kids and their kids and their kids. And they could take care of themselves. That'd be enough for me. And I would be okay with nobody ever knowing that I had that much money. And then looking surprised at my funeral. How much did he have? He had a what? You know, I'd be fine with that. But I don't see that in Kody. Because Kody does things where both Kody and Robyn do things where they try to let everybody know how much money they try to pretend to have. That's why they're sitting in a $2.1 million house that's mortgaged up to their eyeballs, right? Because it's not enough for them just to have a nice house. You guys are about to be empty nesters. Why are you buying a big ass house? How much cleaning do you want to do? Right? You got a big ass house that you couldn't afford to keep the house that you just moved out of up. You couldn't keep up with the maintenance with that. So you bought a bigger, older house? Are you insane? Oh man, like y'all just like doing hard shit. Like I said, like sometimes mugs like ice skating uphill. Is what you're doing. So, but yeah, thank you so much for that. Give you a little something. Then I give you a little something just in case. Let's so nice, gotta do it twice. Kathy Mosley. Then we had a Betty Aldridge in the house. 6117, $10 super chat. What's up, Betty? How you doing? Got that vacation picture. Oh man, I wish I was on the beach. That's how if I ever hit it, that's how y'all gonna know I hit the shit. Cause my background gonna look just like Betty's picture. Here you go, guys. We're gonna talk about sister wives. You're gonna see a surfer go right past my head. It's gonna be incredible. Payne got shit for being a bouncer, but honest work is honest work. I ain't mad at him for being a bouncer. I mean, the only thing I'll say about that is that the job is a lot more romantic than people think it is, because you're never dance. In most cases, you're not dating the dancers. In some cases, you don't want to date the dancers. And in Peyton's case, could you date the dancers? Could you bring, like, this is your girlfriend? Could you bring her home? Would your family accept her and make her feel welcome? Because that's a big thing too, because of the line of work that she's in, and that's legal too. And if that's what she chooses to do, or he chooses to do, that's their business. But I'm not mad at him for being a bouncer, you know. Like I said, it's just like the one thing that kind of gave me the ick factor, if you will, was what I'd heard, that he was complaining that he'll walk the young ladies out to the car and they wouldn't go out with him or show him appreciation for him showing that gesture. That's your job. Okay. Like if I was working at McDonald's and I was flipping hamburgers, I can't be like, yo, man, what you doing? You ain't even say thank you for making your food, player. Like, dude, that's your job. You know what I mean? Working at Dunkin' Donuts. Man, I put them donuts in the bag, yo. You ain't even gonna say thank you. Tell me how delicious they are. Nothing. I did when I gave you cash. I thanked you with little green pieces of paper. Right. So I mean, that was the only thing that bothered me about his little bouncing stories. But other than that, like, I'm gonna be a bouncer. I mean, I think it was way more shocking to his family than it is to me. Like, I don't care. I care less. Do what you gotta do, boo boo. How you make your papers, how you make your papers, as long as you ain't hurting nobody or breaking the law, which in that case, he wasn't really doing either. So, but thank you so much, Betty. An excellent point. You know, everybody got to do their thing. Everybody got to get their money. Thank you, Betty. Then we had Unlimited Lipstick, 279 Super Chin. I think Robyn feigned ignorance are the ring. Yeah. I mean, again, I think the pathway is there for it. And I have a plan for video. Once I get my stuff set up, I gotta get that moving. I have some product coming in to finish that piece up. But I 100% agree with that. You know, it's basically like the silly season, because it gives her a way out, because all she has to say is, well, that's just what I assume, because Kody gave my kids a ring and I know he gave the other girls a ring, so I just assume that. And she doesn't even have to blame Kody. That's the beauty of it. She doesn't even have to blame Kody. I just assume that because, like, clearly Christine didn't give her the ring because she was asking about it. And I know that Kody gave my daughters a ring and he gave his other daughters a ring. So therefore, I just logically, I thought that he gave her a ring. She showed up with the ring. I didn't know she stole a credit card and bought her own ring. Wow. Like that, like, you know what I mean? That part, that needle part, like, because, she's just not going to be like, oh, I had no idea. She's going to be like, oh, I didn't know she stole a credit card and came in with stolen property. Oh, that's a reflection of her mother. Like, there's always got to be like that backhand comment. So, yeah, but I think she does have like the a little bit of a window to be able to excuse the lie or pardon a lie. If that makes sense. But thank you so much, Janet. Appreciate you. I missed your speak pipe this week, Janet. Just giving you a hard time. But thank you, Janet. Appreciate you. All right, next up we have Sunny Bunny in the house.
Hi, James. I just wanted to
Hey,
talk a
Sunny.
little bit about the situation with McKelty and the ring, because it illuminated some things for me that I feel like maybe we don't talk about as much. One of those things is we've seen Kody with withhold affection for some of the women, in the sense of, you want my affection, here is a list of things you need to achieve or do, and ways in which you need to change for you to earn my affection, earn my time, etc. But this thing with the ring kind of illuminated the fact that he was doing the same to the children. Mykelti was denied the ring because she was a rebel child. But rather than take the time to actually be a parent and instruct Mykelti, he basically said, I know you want this thing. I'm going to withhold it from you um, as a punishment. And until you become a loyal daughter and follow and obey my rules, you're not going to get it. And that I feel is super fucked up. And it seems like the women knew about it. And because it was their normal, right? It was normalized in their family, they didn't take issue with it.
You know what? And that's exactly what I was saying. That's what I was saying too. Like unfortunately, because this is something that occurred when it does happen, and this is what I meant by what did you know, when did you know it? If you say you didn't know, and if you didn't know, should you have known? And by should you have known, should you have been asking the next question to the right people to find out the answer? And the reason why you don't ask the question or you don't ask the right questions to the right people is because ultimately you don't want to know the answer. If Christine didn't want to know that Kody didn't buy her daughter a ring, but she's walking around with a ring, she doesn't want to know how she got it or why she's walking around with it or what's going on with it. You understand what? So she'll just turn a blind eye to it. I didn't know. I didn't know, and just let that be that. So, I think that's a key thing, and I do think that's part of the problem because at the end of the day, one of the baseline manipulations that he utilized was the fact that he started how you start is how you finish. That's something I learned when I was a young person. And if you start these relationships on a foot where you're constantly chasing after somebody, then you'll chase them the entire relationship and you'll chase them so much you don't even know why you're chasing them or what you're going to do when you catch them. And it's almost to the point of like the psychological state of if you've ever woke up late for work or class or school or whatever, by the sheer fact that you were late and you feel like you overslept, missed your alarm or whatever, you jump out of bed, you get your shower, you get dressed, you rush out the door, and maybe you rush on the way to work. You feel like, oh, you feel the adrenaline pumping. And even if you get to that place or location, work or school or wherever the case, date or meet with friends on time or a little bit late, you feel like you're late the entire day. You feel like you're chasing something the entire day. Now imagine that compounded over years. Or like that mindset that you're constantly chasing somebody over years. And I think that that's what they took advantage of. That's what Kody took advantage of. And then they're so used to it because it's part of the family culture that, again, even though Kody was utilizing this against Mykelti, in some cases to punish Mykelti, because even with Mykelti being a rebel child, let's be honest, Madison was probably way more difficult than Mykelti because Madison had a mouth. Madison was giving her opinion on shit. She was very outspoken. Madison was very outspoken. Mykelti, like, not even a basher. I'm not trying to insult her at all, right? Because I always thought like this was, I always like kids like that. But Mykelti would have been more of a weird kid, a weirdo, a strange kid, like that. Like she was she was dorky, you know? And like to be honest with you, those to me, especially in high school, I had the ability to hang out with a lot of different groups, but like the certain kids were always kind of my favorite because they were actually more loyal, a lot of times more intellectual, more emotionally aware, more creative in thought. So I always like hanging out with them. But Mykelti kind of reminds me of those types of kids, and which doesn't make them bad. It just, for a father who wants a mainstream superstar, star athlete child, those kids would be a problem for them because they don't think in a conventional sense like other kids would. They don't adhere to the social norms of what's popular, what's good, what everybody else is doing, and they jump on that train. They tend to have independent thought, which makes them a little harder to control, but they're not bad kids. And that's kind of where I think that's the feeling I had as far as McKelty was concerned. It wasn't that she was bad. It was just that she kind of was marching at her own by her own drum. I mean, marching to her own beat. So I think that part of that was when Kody was dealing with her, that he was actually punishing her mom. And I think a lot of that came in to that respect. Hold on.
So I came on a little. I figured I might as well have dinner with
I'm gonna have to go back because we had a couple spots that jumped in after we get started, but I'll upload those as we go and get them in. All right. Next, we have Sunny Bunny Part 2.
The other thing that I was going to say regarding the situation with the ring is that in terms of this situation with Kody and the wives, it seems to me that the relationships were extremely toxic. But I feel like even if they were on a good day, just because the dynamics between all the adults involved, the dynamics of these relationships were so complex and they required so much of the adults' attention and time to negotiate terms, to negotiate rules, to make sure everybody's fair, everybody's getting what they need, etc., that things that had to do with the children and their needs were falling behind. I think Christine knew that the ring was an issue because that's one of the reasons she was probably talking to Robyn about it, right? But she didn't catch on to the fact that her daughter bought her own ring. And I feel like if her relationship with Kody wasn't so strained and required so much of her attention, she would have had more conversations with her own daughter to realize that actually it wasn't Kody who bought the ring, she bought it herself. And I hope that's a moment of reflection for the women in the show.
I think that's an excellent point because when push comes down to shove, when we look at it, we have to ask that question. Like, how much slipped through the cracks because they did spend a majority of their time chasing after this man? And I think that that's one of the things that as Christine was moving into a relationship with David, that a lot of people were giving her pause or giving that relationship pause about, was because she did spend so much time, even admittedly so. She admitted this. This is not James's opinion. This is what Christine has said about herself, that she spent so much time chasing after Kody that she feels like she neglected her children because she was man chasing. And it was all about serving him and his needs, that her needs, as well as the needs of her children, took the back seat. And I think that that is one of the things that when I was talking about like McKelty and the ring and like how could Christina miss this, that's part of the reason why. And that's why I say, like, when you don't ask that question, you're not incentivized to ask that question if you're chasing after this man. And if you embarrass him or you ask him a question and you get the answer that you don't want to hear, that he didn't buy your daughter a ring, and that ring that, you know, she's been asking for, wanting and begging him for so long, and you've been watching all the other kids get, and she's been denied, and then all of a sudden she shows up with a ring and you start asking and inquiring about that ring, that's a confrontation when you find out that he didn't buy her the ring, because then you got to find out, well, where the hell did you get the ring from? One, two, Kody, why didn't you buy her a ring? I don't understand what's taking so long. Do you need me to go out and buy the damn ring, give it to you so you can give it to her? Let me know what I need to do to make this happen, because that's hurting her now. There's a point where it goes beyond punishment. You know what I mean? I understand it. Like, you don't give in to a child and give them everything they want, because life is difficult, life is hard, and they're not going to get everything they want when they leave your house. You have to prepare them for rejection. You have to prepare them for loss. You have to prepare them for those events. You have to prepare them to take accountability and responsibility for their actions when they do something wrong, and they might be punished or they might not get the outcome that they want. I understand that. I support that. However, at the same time, when they do something and they do something wrong or whatever the case may be, you can't just punish them and keep punishing them until you can't punish them no more. That's not improving their situation, because again, if it's all stick, no break, no rest, no relax, no release, and no relief, then there's no incentive for them to change their behavior. So I don't understand it. You telling me that she was bad the whole time? You couldn't buy the ring. And if that was the case, it also, like, if you put things in a perspective, did you not buy her the ring because you were too busy spending all your money on Robyn and her kids? And so your finances were already preoccupied. So you just blamed her behavior on you not being able to afford to buy her the ring. You didn't have a desire to buy her a ring. You technically did it. You could afford it, but you chose not to do it because you were too busy spending money on your girlfriend and her kids than to spend the money on your child. So these are, and with Christine and the other moms, this is something that you guys, you were sitting front row for. And like Dee said, you got to take all that into, the upbringing and all that into perspective. But at the same time, like, you're sitting here watching him do this to your kids, and he's doing it to your kids, but you're making different decisions, But let's go to, thank you so much, Sunny Bunny. We're going to go to Linda.
Hey, James, it's Linda. So I just had a thought. I saw I just finished watching your live. I think it was from Sunday. But I think that Kody, aside from being emotionally stunted, like he's immature, this man has not grown emotionally or mentally in all his years. Like he doesn't know that relationships take work. I think he is stuck on competing with his father. It's my understanding that his dad was real hard on him, prevented him from marrying someone else because he didn't have the funds, which made sense. But I really think that Kody is competing with his dead father. For him to say, did they ever find me attractive? I want Robyn to find me attractive. That's not what makes a relationship. I mean, we all know that. I don't have to say it on this live, but it's like I took a step back and just realized this guy is a man child. He's playing at being a man, and he's not doing a very good job of it. And he never will. He's never going to be a man, a husband, a father, any human being of value. He has nothing to contribute to this world.
Good point. That's actually subject to something I'll be talking about and addressing later. So I'll keep my powder dry on that particular commentary, Linda. But good point. I mean, I think that it was very telling. And it was very telling about his observation about his dad and his relationships, and how he saw what he thought was led to the cause of failure in his own personal relationships, Kody's failure in his relationships, and why he blamed like lack of attraction and physical attraction in his relationship. So we'll get into that. But I thought it was very telling, very sad, and it also demonstrated a lot of immaturity on Kody's part. But let's go to Linda 2.
Hey, James, it's Linda. So I came on a little late. I figured I might as well have dinner with y'all since I'm leaving tomorrow. But I'm getting what you're saying. I don't understand how TLC thinks people are going to tune in week after week after week, and we're going to hear him say, I can't believe they left. They left me. They left me alone. They left me a monogamous. What he's really saying is, I can't believe these women woke up and left me. Mary got a spiritual release. Who's next to get a spiritual release? Robyn is not comfortable with me being a monogamous. And they have compromised my marriage to Robyn. That's all it's about. Aside from the fact he does miss the paychecks. Because now, look, he had to do special forces because he had to get that money. He got a hell of a mortgage to pay. Oh, I can't wait for that house to go into foreclosure. But Robyn's biggest mistake, and I'm sure she's looking at it in hindsight, was not being a little bit more sister wifey. And I think she kept her kids away from Christine because Christine is a little loosey-goosey, and Robyn seems a little bit more strict. But I can't wait to see if Janelle gets a release. I wish Christine would, just to mess with him, because he really is falling apart. Aside from the fact these supplements and testosterone he's taken,
We're going to jump right to part 2 of Janet's or Linda's. Linda's thing. Hold on 1 second.
also, I might entertain myself and watch Special Forces live since I'm not going to be in New York tomorrow morning. I think that Kody's definitely on something, whether it's testosterone, whether it's, I don't know what else they could take, but the man is manic. You look at his eyes, you look at his mannerisms, and how he has to stop and really reach for his words. Dude is on something. I think these little rumors, I don't know if you've checked the people who were there, the content creators. I know Gia said some things, Ravi, Chicken Fry. A lot of people are talking. The ones that I don't think are talking too much are the, the name escapes me, the Olympic gymnast that's married to the ex-football player. They were really talking about how tough things were. And this is tough for athletes. We're talking an Olympic athlete and an ex-football player. And Kody's not even breaking a sweat. My man is on stuff, and maybe that's how they kicked him off. I don't know. I thought they had strict rules, but yeah. But Kody's falling apart. We're just watching the falling apart of Kody Brown, and there's nothing Robyn could do about it. Because again, Robyn just wanted the best customer honeymoon experience. She was not cut out to be the full-time wife. And that is something that Kody can't reconcile.
All right. That was Linda coming in with some heat. I think that ultimately, I think that is a thing. Like, I think that, some of the downfall that he might be going through, or some of the depression and some of the struggles that he's having, is his whole world and his self-image has been shaken, because he came into the relationship. He saw himself as like the master. Oh man, these women, they just want me so much. They so attracted to me. I could do anything I want to these women, anything. And they just going to be standing right there. Give me some more. Give me some more. They're going to eat it all up because I'm that guy. Then the women started leaving. But that's okay, because I still got a bunch of money. But then they took their money with them. Oh shit, now all of a sudden I'm down 60%. My income is down 60%, but I have a lifestyle that I want to keep and maintain. And in fact, I want to not only maintain the lifestyle I have, I want to grow it. I want to drive a nicer car, live in a bigger house, a more expensive home with more taxes, more real estate, more responsibility. I want to do all these things because I want to do big things, because I want to be that guy, because I am that guy. I'm the knight in shining armor who came along and saved this woman, took her and her kids in, and I made them this special life. Then all of a sudden, that person that you saved and looked up to you and would defend you by all costs and by all measures is now starting to question who you are and what you're about. And she's blaming polygamy for her dissatisfaction with you, because I don't think, I got to do this video, you guys, I'm telling you, I don't think it's just a matter of she's upset because she can't be a polygamist. I just think that she's not satisfied or happy with him. And it's an easy thing to say that, the reason why I don't smile and I'm not happy all the time is because I want to have more wives. I want to share you. That's why I'm upset. I think I'm upset because you're not the person I thought you were. You're not the person who makes me happy. And because you're not that person who has the financial ability to take care of me the way I want to be taken care of. He's not that guy. That's why he's buying her rings, and why he's out there buying these houses, why he's putting his behind in a brand new car, convertible car. It's partly him, but he's trying to impress this woman who he's struggling to impress. And she very well, and we talked about it earlier, she might be getting offers, because let's be honest. And here's the jacked up part about it, something that maybe some folks don't know. But just because you'll be married and people will make promises to you. Oh, if you leave this person, you leave that person. Oh, the things I do to you, the things I do for you. Oh, we gonna have a good time. Oh, I'm gonna buy you this, I'm gonna buy you that. If you just leave them. right? It's easy to make promises when somebody is unavailable and it's something that you want. But when you're on the precipice of getting that thing, having that thing, and that thing being yours, or more to the point, you being responsible for that thing, then all of a sudden, that's a whole different ball of damn wax. The same people who will sit there and promise you and ask you to leave the person that you so committed to, and all that because I want you so much. Those would be the same people who don't return your phone calls when you file for divorce. So she might have people in her ear talking about, Robyn, if you get a divorce, girl, I'm telling you, you will be the first lady of our church. I'm telling you. And she file that paperwork, they get to talking to her and be like, you know what? Yeah, this ain't gonna work. And you kind of stuck. So, I mean, I think that they're all kind of in a bad position. I think they're all in a bad position. But thank you so much, Linda. And again, I have to get this office done because I have to start putting out more content because I have so many things that I want to talk about and addressing. You've hit on a couple of them that I want to go more in depth in and talk about. But thanks so much, Linda. Appreciate you. Next up, we got Janet. She dropped us a little bit of a super chat. Let's check that real quick. That's what made me go into the SpeakPipe and download them. So thank you, Janet, for that. But Janet say, I think, no, it's not that one. It's this one. Unlimited lipstick, $6.99 super cheat. James, I did leave a SpeakPipe. Left it right before the show. Play that shiz. And that's exactly what we about to do, Janet. Appreciate you. Let me give you a little something for that. And we will be playing your SpeakPipe momentarily. But before we do, we have Jody Paris Scholar with the $9.99 super chat. You mentioned you wanted to know who is watching the show or just coming here for the group. Do a poll. I am just wondering, but I haven't learned anything new not watching. Yeah. That's all right. I've been watching. I ain't learned nothing new yet either. So I did do a poll by your recommendation, Jody. If you guys wouldn't mind, fill that poll out. And that way we can get a better, more information. I will be running the same poll again on Sunday for the after show too, because I almost do it from the beginning now. But thank you, Jody. I forgot all about that because I was curious. But currently, we had 45 votes. Are you still watching the show each week? 42%, 41% of you said yes. And a surprising 59, almost 60% of you said, no, I'm not watching the show anymore. Wow. That's a big number. TLC. TLC, yeah, that's a big ass number. we have danger, Will Robinson, danger. Okay, y'all in trouble. 60%. Shit. Woo! Okay, that's a big number. Oh, it's coming down. It's 55. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying. Guys, keep answering. Let a player know what's going on. But thank you so much for reminding me, Jody. We will be running this poll again because I am curious. But thanks so much for that. Appreciate you, Jody. Jody coming in clutch per usual. Little Jody, a little something. All right. Thank you so much, Jody. I appreciate that. Next up, we have Janet, as promised.
Hi, James. This is Janet. I was just wondering what you thought about um like Cody's tendency to talk about his stink a lot. I just feel like I know we talked about it like on the live or you guys did. I can't remember exactly how it was addressed, but like there's clips of him from when they first moved to Coyote Pass, like running around with like this really sappy music playing in the background. I think it's at the end of one of the episodes. And he's like, I just needed to get my stink on the place. And the music in the background is like this like sappy like music and they're talking about how finally they'll have a home together. And I'm like, who who allowed this? Like who thought that this was okay for him to be like, I need to get my stink on the place? And then when Christine left and wanted to move to Utah, he's just like, she needed to get my stink off of her. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just he's a lot, and it's a lot, and he talks about his stink a lot. Just wonder what you think.
Well, Kody talks about his stink a lot because he's a cowboy. That's not true. That's not true. I know a lot of cowboys, but he's one of them guys. He's trying to be an alpha male, and typically when animals like that, you know, dogs, cats, they will mark their territory. So I guess that's what Cody's saying. Like he thinks he's pissing on people, but he's just really pissing people off. And I think that that's the subtle difference. Like what push comes down to shove, Cody's whole thing is he's trying to be the cool masculine man, which I think actually is very telling based on what he said about his father in reflection. When he talked about his dad, he said, you know, my dad was so cool because he was a man's man. He was a masculine man. He was a source of masculinity. He was an alpha male, right? That whole fantasy that Kody has about like alpha maledom, he has developed from a weird obsession and admiration that he has for his father, even though his father mistreated him, even though he disliked his dad, I guess to a certain point, but he loved his dad at the same time. So it was like, from what I understand, they had a very difficult relationship. And one of the things that he has parted with that idea, romanticized notion of his father, is the idea of being that alpha male. And so I don't want to be an ass right here, but when you aren't a thing and you want to be a thing, you try to find attributes of that thing and say that these are your attributes. These things come from you. So he tries to come up with like, oh, I'm gonna put my stank on it. I'm gonna put the stank on the stank. Oh, I've got my pheromones kicking up. Like I have never heard a guy who is confident, self-assured, and I work with, like, I've been around a lot of A-type personality people, right? What some would refer to as alphas and all that, but these are typically they're referred to as like A personalities, type A personalities. And when you're around those people, they would never say shit like that. The difference, the very subtle difference between somebody who sees himself that truly sees himself that way, they never have to say it. It's just the way they carry themselves. You know who's very good at it? And I've been watching this. I've been on Netflix. I've been watching this series, getting caught up on this series because I started watching it and I stopped watching it. It was a show called Blacklist with James Spader. As an actor, like from what I understand, he's a very nice guy, affable, you know, awesome dude. But when he acts, he has a character that he's always played. He's always played like the arrogant, rich, you know, asshole like character. Even when he was in high school, younger guys, he was playing like with Molly Ringwald and all those guys. More Robert Downey Jr. and all them. He was always like the rich kid who was like kind of a jerk and taking advantage of people. And he grew up and he got older and then he played lawyers who were basically like really rich, smart lawyers who kind of had a way of looking down on you, that kind of thing. And then he played Blacklist, obviously. And he plays his character excellently. And the one thing that's consistent with these characters, when they walk into a room, they don't walk into a room and ask you anything. They walk into a room and their mere presence lets you know who they are. That's an alpha male. Like theoretically, I don't believe in that alpha male bullshit, alpha beta bullshit, right? But if that alpha male existed, that's what it would be. An alpha male would not be a person who has to tell you, oh yeah, by the way, guys, just so you know, yeah, alpha male here. So if there's any questions about the alpha maledom, yeah, you call me because I'm an alpha male. In case you haven't heard, yeah, check your schedules because I wrote it down next to my name, James Alpha Male. You know, so that way you guys know. All right, alpha males don't have to do that. Alpha male would never have to say I put my stink on stuff. Alpha male would never have to ask you. It's kind of like if you make good food, you don't have to ask people, do you like my food? How it tastes? Because people will be sitting, you know how your food good. I'm gonna tell you a secret. You know how you know your food good if you ever have a question. Is my food really good? When you make your food and you put it down and everybody can eat, whether it's after you say your prayers or you just put the food hit the table, right? The plate hit the table. Your food is good if nobody talking. All you hear is if forks hitting a plate or just smack. Damn. That's how you know your food good. If everybody talking and shit, yeah, your food probably not that good. You know what I mean? Nobody picks their fork up. Okay, guys, mind your. Everybody eat. And nobody moves. Anyway, like I said, I was watching paint dry the other day. It was incredible. Like, your food is trash. All right. But that's the whole thing with like his whole like machismo, masculine man, muscle man, macho man, alpha male bull stuff, is that if he has to keep trying to say that, and the reason why he's saying that is because he's trying to sell it to the audience. He's trying to advertise himself as the masculine man and typecast himself as that. But the problem is nobody's buying it because, frankly, you keep saying it. That's number one. So if you're watching Kody, stop saying you're alpha male. People would have assumed that you were alpha male because you had 3 wives. But the fact you have to keep saying it, that's why nobody respects you. Last but not least, and this is a really good one, Bethany. She had a comment, and I wanted to play this because this is something I said before, near and dear to my heart. So Bethany, take it away.
Hey James, this is Bethany. I just wanted to share my take on something. You know, they all joke that Cody's hair and sports car are the extra wives, but I think the fandom is absolutely his 5th wife. They stick around, so excited for any little scrap Cody's willing to put out. He puts together a bunch of lies whenever he gets around to it, and then tosses it out and sits back and collects a huge paycheck. In my opinion, even if they did manage to come up with interesting storylines, it's far better to cancel the show. We all know that the OG crew would absolutely keep fans up to date through their social media, and we could have the satisfaction of knowing that Kody and Robyn's easy money has come to an end. Peyton and Maddie would also likely be willing to actually explain their experiences growing up as well. That's my take. Thanks, James.
All right. I think that's an excellent take. Because I do feel like that too. I've been feeling like that for a while. Like we're the 5th wife. Because again, like he treats us that way. He tells us lies, he tells us stories, makes shit up without any consideration or forethought or even putting your mind into it. Like I said, I understand that people are going to be dishonest with me, but what annoys me is when people tell me dumbass lies. And if you're going to tell me something that's not true, at least put some effort into it. At least try. Put the old college try, put your elbows into it. Like put your back into it. Put your thinking cap on. Think about a good lie that's actually believable. Stop telling me stuff that's unrealistic and stupid, right? Like when he sat there and told Christine, yeah, if you take us, you try to take me to court, then basically the state owns Truly. The state owns her. Yup, they own her. They're going to have a receipt and everything. Like that stupid shit. Like, man, I wanted to trip his ass. Like, what are you talking about? The state gonna own your child. Are you okay? Do you have a head injury? Did you bump your head on the way in here? Yeah, the lawyer, they're gonna take all your money. Like the lawyer's just gonna be like, oh, you want to file for custody? Oh, give me all your money, all your bank accounts, so that you can't take care of the child once we win this case for you. Like, you were afraid they were gonna take your money, Kody. And like some of the stories he tells, it's stuff that is dumb to us for him to tell us these stories. So I 100% agree with that. Like, it's just craziness. And the fact that he tries to triangulate us, turn us against sister wives. Like, he's actively turned us against Robyn and blamed Robyn for things that potentially she had nothing to do with. But he tried to turn the fans against Christine several times. When he sits around and talks about how Christine did that and how she did this and how she ruined the family and took the kids away. And he tried to say the same thing about Janelle. That was actually a dog whistle to make the fandom mad at these women for denying him the ability to see his kids. because that would make them bad mothers. If they're hurting their children, because the precept that he tried to use is they are actively hurting their children using their children to hurt me. And by trying to hurt me, they're hurting their children. That makes, by definition, that would make them bad mothers. So we should have all been angry. Listening to him, we should have all been angry at both Christine and Janelle for being bad mothers and using their kids against Kody because they somehow denied him the ability to call these adults on their cell phones. But then at the same time, he did the same thing with Mary. He did the same thing with Mary. If we would have turned on Mary, if in season 9, that's when the whole catfish thing happened. If in season 9, it was actually at the end of 8, first 2 episodes of 9. If the fans would have said, Mary is a cheater, she destroyed Mary. Oh, you're so disgusting. Disgust me, Mary. If the fans would have turned on Mary, Kody would have put her ass out in season 8, at the end of season 8, beginning of season 9. That would have been her last season on the show and the last season in the Brown family, but it didn't work. And the crazy part is, and I'm going to say something new for those who like new shit. Here's some new shit. Get ready. The crazy part is because the fans didn't turn on them, there's a possibility because we didn't turn on Mary, that made Kody reaction towards Mary worse. Kody started treating her worse because we didn't get angry with Mary and because we didn't give him the permission and the roadmap to be able to get rid of Mary. And because he couldn't get rid of Mary, oh, okay, then fine. I'm gonna do her way dirtier than I was doing her before. Because didn't anybody notice that it got like significantly worse as far as like him publicly humiliating Mary after season 8? Oh, well, that was because he was embarrassed about her being on the catfish. I don't think he gave a shit that she was catfished because he had already said, I would be happy if you went and got somebody else. He'd already said, I'll be, you want to go out with somebody else, you're more than welcome. I mean, because he said that when he was there. He said that when he was standing on Kody Pass. He said that when he was when they went camping. That time I think they had already been to Arizona. He had been said like he was okay. But that was all building up after the catfish stuff. Didn't strike anybody that he was so cool he forgave her after the catfish shit. Then all of a sudden he didn't forgive her. Because we didn't get mad. We were supposed to get mad. He was using us like the fifth sister wife. We were supposed to get mad, turn on Mary, and that would have gave him permission. Well, I'm just going to let Mary go because y'all upset at her, and I don't want to create no waves. So, yeah, we were the fifth sister wife. I 100% agree with that. That was an excellent point, Brittany, and that's why I wanted to play it. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I went way longer than I thought I was going to. But we had some excellent phone calls and stuff. And I wanted to make sure you guys had an opportunity. Again, if you guys want to leave a message on SpeakPipe, please feel free to call. Leave your messages. I don't mind playing them and commenting on them. I had a really cool message from, hold on one second. Oh no. Takia, appreciate you, Takia, for the message. I did receive it. Thank you so much for that. I wasn't sure how much that you wanted me to play, so I didn't segment it out. But thank you for the message. I appreciate it. But thank you to all the callers, everybody who called in. Let's get a quick rundown of the stars of the show. We had hold on, let me go back to the top. We had D, CJ, Mary, and Caramel Cuties in the house, one of the mega mods up in the house. Candace, Tanya, Sunny Bunny, of course, Linda in the house, Janet, as well as Bethany. I appreciate you so much. And as far as super chat, let's recognize those folks. We had well, first and foremost, actually, we had Raiders Ma coming through. We had Kathy Mosley. We had Betty Aldrich. Unlimited Lipstick, Janet in the house. We had Jody Periscala, and we have Lizzie B gifting one My Take on Reality membership. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. So if you guys want to participate in the members roundtable, we run those on Saturday at noontime. You're more than welcome to call in. We have everybody up on stage, as many as we can fit, who call in, and we have a huge discussion. It is awesome. It's a good time. I have a lot of fun with it. Hopefully you guys will call in and participate. Keep your make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notification, because I will be dropping additional content aside from the lives, smaller videos, more pointed videos talking about issues and things that I see on the show. In addition, guys, I have a whole new set of series that I want to roll out. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Feel motivated, feel happy. It's just me trying to steer the ship back to a little more positive, because a lot of the sister wife stuff has become so negative. So thank you guys all for jumping in there. We have wait, hold on one second, because no message from Lizzie B. Subscribe to James, My Take on Reality. Thank you so much. Ring that bell, make sure that bell is turned on. So you'll receive future notifications. And also, Lizzie B just reminded me of something else. Make sure that you guys click your toggle switch so that you can receive you'll be eligible for the gifted memberships when we do it. Technically, I can't decide who gets the memberships. YouTube does it. It's a random thing. They kind of decide or gift them out, but you have to hit the toggle switch so that you're eligible for it. All right. Thank you guys so much. Before we go, let me give everybody who had sent in a text message, the people who participated in the chat, the people who sent in the speak pipe, as well as the mega mods, the super chatters. Can't forget the mega mods, Lizzie B, Carmel Cuties, and Brittany. Now, Brittany, appreciate you guys. Let me give everybody a little something.
Yeah.